Hello, everyone. My name is Fletch, and today, welcome to my channel. And I'd like to say hello to Mr. GRD and 508 Diner. Hey, Scooby, how's it going? Today, as always, before we do next week's dynamic duo, I thought I'll just continue hosting it a little bit. Not today won't be about the dynamic duo or the topics we'll be doing, but it'll be just more about stuff that we love. And in this case, if you can see from behind me, it's all about music and the love for music that I have. And I think music is pretty dear and near to our hearts in a sense as motorcycle riders, because it's always around us. We go to events, there's always a lot of music there. There's a lot of concerts and bands playing. Sturgis is coming up, so obviously the Buffalo Chip will be having a lot of bands there, whether it's virtual or otherwise. So that'll be something you guys should be looking out for or be anticipating as well. And for me, it is not just being a musician that I love music, but on my rides, especially if I'm alone, I always pop in my earphones. Or in my case, in my helmet, I have a Sena, and I'll be connecting it to my iPod or my phone, and I'll be listening to the tunes as I ride, right? And it keeps me company. I know there's a lot of people out there that would rather listen to the wind and the sound of their engine, but it gets kind of old after a while, right? And it kind of motivates me when I ride, especially for me anyway, across the border in Malaysia. Some of the highways actually go between the mountains, and it's always happenstance that as I come around the corner and out of it, in between the mountains, and suddenly it's early in the morning, you see the sunrise, and you have this great rock music banging away in time with that, and I think it's awesome. So today, I'd like to talk a little bit about music and how it influences you guys. Do you listen? I know there's a lot of people out there who actually play an instrument. Randy T-Bird, for one. I know Prairie Boy 77 also plays the guitar from his last video challenge that he did, and a few more others out there as well. So it'd be great to be able to talk about music. I know Jarvis as well plays the guitar. He's got a few guitars. And my good buddy, Chopper Fat Brett, actually has a guitar as well. So I'm actually trying to work out something with him to do a song as well. So that would be pretty interesting if you see the next dynamic duo, we both pull out guitars and start jamming away. Anyway, so good to have you guys on board. Hey Scooby, you just came back from a little getaway. Where do you go to? Tell us all about it. In fact, guys, if you feel up to it, why don't you, I just put a link in the side chat. Why don't you go ahead and pop in, and let's talk music, and let's talk about rides. Let's talk about stuff to look forward to if you're going to Sturgis. I know from all that I've read, it's going to be one big party. And yeah, and we'll see how it goes from there. I'd like to say hello to Hermit on the bike. Right, yeah, depends on the day, mood, or not. If you listen to while I ride, I have a guitar. Oh, excellent, man. So do I, as you know. Yeah, I know. It does get a bit hard, right? If you've never picked up a guitar before, but there are actually a lot of YouTube videos out there that you can learn, and a couple of courses that you can take. But take it slow. Practice, as they say. But it takes a while to learn the guitar. But I think it's a little bit easier than asking me to play the keyboards. So 508 Diner, tunes are good once in a while. It could also be bad. I can get excited with sudden music, which could make me do dumb things. Yeah, I know. So when you look at the motorcycle riders that we have, whether it's a sports bike or us Harley riders on cruisers and so forth, and those adventure bikers. Each of us have the kind of music we love to listen to. I know my good friend who rides BMW GS, and there's one day we were communicating, and he hit the wrong button, and I end up listening to his playlist for a good part of the way. And he was listening to all those elevator music, I was thinking, how can you ride to that? But then again, it says it keeps him calm, which I think is good. Because, if I was on a monster bike and I was cranking away at ACDC or Led Zeppelin, it kind of wants to make me just hit the throttle a little bit more harder, right? Which is not a good thing. And that's why I like being on a Harley, because somehow you're just not pushed to really pump out the throttle and stuff like that, right? But anyway, the link is in the live chat. If you feel like you want to come in and have a quick chat, I'm going to be here for a while. Hopefully some more people come and join in. I see there's 5 people watching, but I'm not sure who they are. And if you would like to, just come on. Yeah, lean harder, throttle harder, and brake late. Yeah. That is the story of our lives, right? I think if we've never had an instance where we're doing really leaning hard on the throttle, and then suddenly realize that the bumper of the car is really coming up real fast, and then you hit the brake, and then you start hearing squealing of rubber and stuff, which can be scary in itself. But I think as we get older, we tend to be a little bit more careful, or at least me, anyway. As a boomer, I would probably tend to be a bit more careful, and I think the music helps in a shock instance like that, because then it helps me calm down. In the past, anyway, I tend to be a little bit more cautious now, because at our age, if we get hurt, it's going to take a little bit longer getting better. It's not like when we were 21, we break something and 2 months later we're good to go, but it's going to take us a little bit longer to get up and running. Anyway, for me, when you talk about music that I listen to, if you look at my playlist, you probably think I'm mad, because I have stuff from the 80s, and it's not rock, it's not even rock or stuff. Yeah, you'd be surprised. I've been listening to the new wave of the 80s, Aha, Take On Me, stuff like that, and whatever has a good hook or what have you from the 80s. Then, of course, I have my go-tos, the rock music, whether it's Led Zeppelin, whether it's Pink Floyd. Then I listen a lot to new metal, right, which is people like Incubus and Linkin Park and stuff as well. And when the mood hits me further down into my playlist, you probably get a couple of Slipknots and Periphery and this progressive metal and thrash metal and stuff on it as well. So I have a whole list of music that comes with age, I think. Yeah, ACDC and Rolling Stones on the bike goes, it makes it go 10 to 50 miles per hour faster, and it even adds another 10 horsepower as well. So you'd be flying down the highway. Yeah, I know. It's basically something that we all do, and that's quite tough anyway to control, right? But it is what it is, and I know in my last video that I put out, I talked about the YouTube content creation and fatigue. I think I also wanted to delve into music because it's something that has been a part of my life. When I was young, my mom decided that I needed to get some culture in my life. She did the same thing to my sisters, but they both learned the keyboard. I decided I didn't want to go that way. So I said, guitar. And then she shoves me to this guitar school. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to be doing some Led Zeppelin and Uriah Heep and stuff. No way, man. I ended up learning classical guitar, imagine. And because it was classical guitar, I had to do music theory and everything else. It was kind of a bummer, but it was interesting as well. At least I had some kind of structure and learned how to read and stuff like that. You know, it's been many years, so I kind of forgotten most of the theory, although I can still read. And I know that from there, it really sparked my interest in the guitar and playing music. As you all know, I'm sure all of you have gone through it in high school, the battle of the bands or a school concert or prom. You know, they either get a band or you and your guys will be the band if you didn't have any dates. And in that case, it was my first taste of being live on stage. And I know, just like in Back to the Future, right, where Marty went up and did a song in front of Huey Lewis and the rest of the teachers. It was the same story. Everybody's having a good time. Then we come on. It's not disco anymore, because that was the 70s, right? So we had disco. The disco stops, and then suddenly these mad guys on stage were playing Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple and that kind of thing. Those were the big rock bands of the time. And yeah, so they were pretty unhappy about it. But other than that, we had a good time. Then, of course, in college, same thing, dinner and dances or dances and proms or what have you. We did. I formed a band with my classmates, and we did whatever was on stage. At that time, a little bit more mellow, Clapton and the Eagles and stuff, which was pretty interesting. Then, of course, life came, work and everything else, and I think it started to get a little bit easier in the 90s for me. And what happened was, then I decided to form a band with my work colleagues, and we did a couple of gigs, which was pretty interesting. So the 90s for me was a good chance to do the music that I loved at that time, which was new metal and the rock, right? So you had Creed, you had Live, you had people like Linkin Park and stuff, although I never did any Linkin Park. But we gravitated towards that kind of music, and we played that kind of music. But a couple of times I did some gigs in some pubs. But there, you know, in pubs, it's not, you can't be cranking out metal and stuff. Chances are it's going to be top 40 music that most people like, and most of them will be about 35 and above. So you end up playing, again, the Eagles and Santana, maybe a little of the easy rock or the hair metal, Van Halen, that kind of thing, you know, which was pretty interesting. So that is probably what I was going to do. And so since I not that I have more time on my hands, you know, life is still there, and as we still have to work. But with today, modern age, right, we could now do things virtually. I can get a band together virtually and do some recording and do some covers. So again, I'm not sure if I can do it on this channel. I actually created another channel, which I'll probably might tell you guys about it. Hair bands, you're right, Scooby. You're absolutely correct. The hair bands are like Hot. Do you guys remember Hot? My God, the hair on those guys. And you have Slayer, and you had Poison, and you had, of course, Van Halen, right, with all those hair metal bands, Megadeth, and so forth. Later it would be Pantera had shorter hair, but you know what I mean. So those were big influences. But anyway, so what I'll do is I've created another channel on music and music production and doing covers. I might do one or two on my channel, who knows, and see what the reaction is. If the reaction is pretty good, then I'll pull some of the stuff over here. So I'm actually working on a couple of covers and actually working on an original song. So we'll see how that goes from there, right? Again, guys, if you want to, I'm going to put the link again in the side chat. and you really want to come in and talk, why don't you just come in and talk? Let's talk music. Rat, my God, I haven't heard Rat in a long time, man. I mean, when you talk about the kind of bands that we love, I mean, there's so many, right? And I know if I go through the hundreds of gigabytes of songs I now have on my iPod, you'll be surprised I'm still surprised at the amount of music that I listen to, depending on the era, right? The 70s alone had so much. I don't know if you guys remember, obviously everybody knows Led Zeppelin, right? But there was another band that I loved very much. It was a British Invasion anyway, right? Besides the Yardbirds and Cream, that was the early 60s. Another big band in the 70s was a group called Uriah Heep. Really very, very good. Yeah, Megadeth, of course. Metallica, yeah, in the late 80s, their music was a little bit different from what it is today. I'm not sure if they started in the 80s. I think it's probably in the early 90s that Metallica first came in, but they were obviously influenced by Megadeth and a few other bands. There's another band that I'm trying to think of that was the one of the hair metal bands from England. Yeah, well, I can't remember what it was, but I know that the cover of the band's albums was this skeleton called Eddie, right? So if you know the name of that, Iron Maiden, that's right. Now I remember. So Iron Maiden was also another one that was heavily influenced me in the early 80s, although I was still in my late 20s, so discos and stuff was still pretty big, but they were playing more new wave. And the fact that I was at that period of time before going to college, because as you know, we have to be in the army for a while in Singapore. Since I think at the age of 18, we have to join the army and do our military service for 2 years, or 2.5 years in my case, because I was a non-commissioned officer. And after which, then I could think about college. But unfortunately, that 2.5 years took its toll in a sense. So I decided I didn't want any discipline. Fuck it all. I'll become a DJ. So for about 4 years or 5 years of my life, I was actually a disc jockey, playing whatever the music was in those days. I wanted to get away from the structure and the discipline. And then also secondary part of it was to save up to get another motorcycle, and of course save up for my college, so that then I didn't have to take out a loan or anything. And my parents of course chipped in, right? But I spent 5 years working and playing or being a disc jockey anyway. Yeah, Metallica was the best in the 80s. I mean, the things that they're doing then and now is completely different. I know a lot of people were kind of unhappy that they become mainstream. They even did the soundtrack for Mission Impossible, if I remember correctly. Iron Maiden has been pretty true to their form. I'm not sure if they're still around. I don't remember seeing any albums being released from them, but their music was palatable, I would say. It's not screamo metal. I know they went Iron Maiden and Megadeth actually lasted till the late 90s, and they didn't change their style very much. Megadeth, why I like Megadeth quite a lot, was the fact that they didn't just do the music that they did, but they also collaborated with a lot of people. And I think in the late 90s, with the advent of new metal and the European metal, right? Metal bands. I don't know if you guys know Lacuna Coil, which is an Italian band. But now they've lived in the United States for so long, they're almost an American band. They're still pumping out some music. And the Christina Rabia, I think that's her name, if I get it right, actually joined forces with Megadeth and redid their classic A Tout Le Monde, I don't know if you know that one. And I thought it was an awesome version of that song. She added a little bit more character to that song. So that was pretty interesting. My mom thinks that my college was a waste of time as well. Imagine, I went to college and I studied hotel management in Switzerland, right? So I spent about 3 years there, and it was a diploma course. And what happened was that we had an affiliate to university in the United States. So I actually gained enough credits to be able to complete the final year of my degree in New Jersey, right? Johnson and Wales. So I actually spent about a year in the United States, in New York, and specifically New Jersey. I know New Jersey is not really New York. I'm sure a lot of you New Yorkers out there would probably feel that way, right? So actually, I finished. So the funny thing is that the first part of my career was in the hotels, and now I'm in IT. So my mom does once in a while look at me, from the side, and says, that was a complete waste of fucking money that was, right? Going to college and doing hotel management, and now you're just doing IT, which is completely different. So what a pain that was. But, que sera, sera, that's life, right? It's tough. Yeah, so musical journey for me as a disc jockey. It was fun. Disco, even though we still call it disco, we weren't playing disco music anymore. It depends. We had so many types of clubs in those days. I think you had one school which did all the dance music of the time, the new wave dance music which was mostly those like Alphaville and stuff. If you remember Alphaville, that's all from Europe. Then you had another group of people that just want to listen to R&B and hip hop of the time, right? And we'll be doing Ready for the World and Prince and stuff like that, and people dance to that. So it depends on the club that I was in. I was very happy that the company I was with put me in a rock club, right? And what it is that the disc jockey would play some dance music, or so-called danceable music, because we were playing rock anyway. So whoever is wasted enough will just get on the dance floor and do whatever they need to do. And then the band will come on and play for another 45 minutes. So we'll do alternate sets that way. And it was interesting, right? I remember I always begin my set, it's not a dance song, but at least to welcome everybody in, was Queen. I would actually put on Queen, and that album was from the Highlander soundtrack. I don't know if you recall, Queen did the entire soundtrack for the first Highlander movie. And the song that I would put on was called The Princess of the Universe. That was a banging song, man. That was an awesome song. So, and then of course we put on whatever that was big at the time. So that was pretty interesting. But most of the time I was in either an R&B joint or a dance joint. So half the time I would just switch off, because some of the dance music was just, I don't know, had no hook for me in any case. What it was music that, people dance to. You're not supposed to stand there. This is, imagine as a disc jockey, I'm going, oh, God damn it. What's going on here, Some of them have a good hook. If they were more mainstream stuff, then you had Rick Astley, so we'd be bobbing along, whiskey, couple of beers, couple of shots, couple of tequilas, then the music starts to hit you. Then as a disc jockey, you could enjoy yourself, because otherwise you'd be listening to that crap all night, and that's when I discovered the Jagermeister, right? Because we had a lot of the New Zealand forces, and we had a naval base here from the United States, so the U.S. Marines would come in, quite often. So then that will get pretty interesting pretty fast. And they're the ones that introduced me to Jaegers. Not an interesting memory when you think about the hangover you get from the next day from a Jaeger hangover, right? That's not something that I remember too fondly. But yeah, that's the story, right? So I'm sure that it would be nice if one day we could all get together and I don't know, just pull out the guitars and the live stream like this and just start jamming away. That would be cool, right? So talking about music, yeah, so it influenced a lot. I know that I love to ride with my music. Not so much because like I said, I don't enjoy just the wind and the sound of the road and stuff like that. But it is something that it's like, you know, if you're riding and you're looking at the landscape and stuff, just like what we do, we put up videos and put the music behind it. Some of them done. I know Roland Keith just did it. I know sometimes Paul does it as well, and a few others. What's up, Bob too? And what happens is that this acts like kind of a soundtrack to what you're watching, right? And it kind of, to me, it enhances the ride. It enhances the experience. Yeah. So, and that's why I listen to the music that I do. I do change out my playlist, right? I have, I don't know, 3 hours worth of music on my playlist, and I don't know how many hours on my iPod, but that will keep me going throughout, you know. And music has always been a big part of my life anyway, so it kind of you know, helps out a little bit. I love all music: Portuguese, Latin, little country, metal, dance, R&B. Yeah, I think most of us have a pretty good range of music that we listen to. I'm sure it's all about influence, right? Whatever at the time, if it's dance music, normally it's about your girlfriend or your wife. If it's music from another country, chances are it's because you were there, right? So when I was in Europe, I was heavily influenced by some of the French music, because they spoke French in Switzerland, or at least that part of it was. Listen, Scooby, you should learn. Why not just pick it up? You know, go and buy a cheap acoustic guitar, and just learn, right? I think you can get a $50 guitar off eBay or something, you know, and just do it. You know, even if it's just strumming along, get one of those. In fact, I have it as well. I went out and bought a long time ago. Anyway, one of those top 50 songs in a little book. So once you learn what the chords are and you're clear enough, you can actually start to play those songs and then it's all about practice anyway. Hey, home bees, how are you? How's it going? Welcome. We're talking about music. 508 Dino is talking about learning the guitar, and I think you should try. Why not? Right? It's never too late, even for the fun of it. Right? I know they have online courses that you could follow. I can't remember which are the better ones, but I've seen some that as a guitarist, I think they're good. So sign up. In fact, I think there is a guy who I follow, and his name is Rick Biato. He's actually a very good producer and music. He's done all the big guys, you know, and he's got his own channel. His name again is Rick Biato. Go on to his channel. He actually has a course on music and some music theory and learning playing and everything else. So that could be a good start, right? And he's got some YouTube tutorials on playing the guitar and stuff. So why not, right? I'd like to say hello to Forever on Wheels. How's it going, man? How's it going, everybody? Again, I'm going to put the link to the site on the side chat, and why don't you just go ahead and come on in and chat? Why not, right? And talk about music and what you want to do, because I encourage all of you that if you're thinking about it, whether it's learning the keyboard or the bass or the drums or the guitar in my case, go and do it. If anything else, imagine you guys at a barbecue or something, you pull out the guitar and everybody starts to sing along, and I have no control over my pinky. Mark needs to be here. He's a guitar player. Yeah, hey, I'm discovering that there are more and more people are actually play guitar, and it'd be great if we could, like I said, we could get together and jam out some stuff. You could just sit by the fire at the barbecue and play the guitar and pump out some Eagles or what have you. Whatever else. You can't really play metal on an acoustic guitar, but you definitely can do churn out some Beatles or what have you. It's just for fun, right? I'm a little bit more serious about the music in my case, because I decided that it's about time. I have put aside that part of my life for too long, and I wanted to get back into it. Not just the performance part of it, but the actual creating of music and doing covers and doing my own music. And like I said, in this day and age, we have all the software, we've got all these webcams, and we can now do a virtual thing. In fact, I'm sure it's the same with you guys, and a lot of it here. A lot of the musicians in Singapore have gone virtual. They've gotten together and did some concerts and stuff live on Facebook and what have you. And that's all very inspirational to me. And it's the same thing. If they can do it, so can I, right? I can get my old band together. It's just that I was actually working on something that we could play together and I could do a video on. But unfortunately, the vocalist of our band, well, not unfortunately, but good for her, she's getting married. She's a young thing. I remember I met her when she was 17, and I was like in the 90s. So she's just getting married next month, so she's pretty busy. But I think once she's settled down, hopefully we can get that song going with my bassist and the other guitarist. And we're still trying to find a drummer. Although, like I said, in this day and age, we can put together a band and play some virtual instruments, and we still can get going, right? Yeah, I'd love to jam, and Scooby. As much as possible, one day it will happen. Again, let's see how it goes, right? If we can get Mark on, if we can get Jarvis, Randy T-Bird. I know Brett, as I mentioned earlier, Brett also has a guitar, so we can all just get on board and start doing the Beatles or something. I don't know, whatever. I have an acoustic guitar. It don't have to be an electric. So we'll see how it goes. I can't remember any other musical channels that I could suggest. Let me see if I can go onto YouTube and look out for this for some of them. Right. Yeah, his name is Rick Biato. Let me put his name out so that you know. He's a really good musician. Yeah, that's his name, Rick Biato. he has a music on course. He has a musical course online. He's got his books and stuff. Hey, all right, and Mr. GRD, you take care. Join us next week. It will be me and Brett, but it won't be Thursday anymore. It'll be Friday, but same time, because he has to work the next day if we do on Thursday, and I'm working because it's like 9:30 here, but it's a public holiday today, so I don't really have to care too much. But most of the Friday streams that I do, I'm actually working. If I had Brett on, then I could quickly look at my emails and stuff. So that's pretty tough. So we decided to move it on Saturday. I don't know if that's going to do us any good, because there's a lot of people. Friday. There's a lot of people doing Friday night streams. So that might muck things up. I don't know, but I will still do it anyway. I miss doing it with Brett, and we could talk about motorcycle specifics and stuff. And I'm sure we can get some good guests to talk about stuff on that particular channel. Anyway, right? So that will be on the 7th or 8th. We'll put out notices anyway to let you guys know. So he's good to go for that. Yeah. So let's all of you who do play an instrument and are interested in this, why don't we talk about it, message each other if we can, either on Instagram or what have you, and then see we can do one live stream. It's just all about jamming. Why not, right? For an hour or two, everybody just gets on and play and talk about the instruments and everything else. And stuff like that. It'd be great to get Mark on board as well. Man, you guys are shy, man. What did you? Well, anyway, I'll keep on putting the link there because, oops. Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to put up the link again. Anyway, so that we could chat because if nobody wants to come in and chat, then I'll probably keep this short. It won't go on like it normally does, but it would be great if we could continue and talk about music, right? Right. So about playing music, I as I was mentioning before, I am embarking on if I can't get people together to do it and to do covers, I will do like what those other YouTube channels are doing. It would be a one-man show playing as many of the instruments as possible to be able to then push out a cover. Like I said, I'm not a vocalist. I can't really sing. I can sing within a certain range. I can't hit too high or too low. So I'll probably if I have to sing, I would choose a song that's within my range. So then I won't be chasing people away, right? Even in this day of auto-tune and everything else, I don't think you want to sound, you don't want to hear a chipmunky version of myself singing this particular song. But I'm going to try. I know there are a couple of songs that I can sing, and I'll try and put together one. But I'm more in favor of getting the old band together so that I can put a video together. In fact, what's happening is that I'm actually writing an original song, so to speak. Again, I don't know if you're all familiar with nu metal. Nu metal basically is, as it says, is metal, right? It's rock music, and it's coupled together with rap and a DJ, which is people like Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park and a group called Incubus and the such. That they're doing that period, right? So it's called nu metal, and or some people call it butt rock. I don't know what that means. I need to find out. There's a guy that I watch called the Punk Rock MBA, a music channel that he talks about music and other genres and everything else, and he always refers to new metal as butt rock. So I'm not sure what it is, but my idea was that to bring it to modern times, because new metal is still there. You still have Alter Bridge and stuff like that, and people who are still playing new metal, but it's new metal of the past. I want to try and do the new metal today, right? So basically, what it was when I say rap, they're doing the beats and the sort of stuff that is similar with the guitars and drums and really hard rock behind it. It was that kind of groove, a hip hop groove that they were doing then in the early 90s on new metal. What I want to do is the driving force for today, in a sense, for rap and something similar to hip hop, which people rap to or dance to, is trap or drill, if you're aware of that kind of music. So drill, actually more so drill, which has more driving force. You know, if you instead of having an electronic drum, if you put a regular drum to it, you can actually feel the drive already. And if you can suddenly add the guitars, and you can add a pumping bass behind it, suddenly you have new metal in today's era. And that's what I'm striving for. So I'm actually working with a local rapper. So I'll lay down the beats and lay down the song with the electric guitars and the standard beats and stuff like that, and then have him rap and sing over it as well. So that's something to look forward to. I'm already in touch with him, but I need to buckle down and lay the track, which should probably be next week, because I'm waiting for this piece of equipment to come in, which I've ordered from Amazon. Based on the track, it should be on here on Monday. It's called the Atom, so that I'll be able to so-called play the keyboard on it and put in some sounds and add the drum beats and everything else. So then I could actually produce a full song. Wow, that's good, Scooby. What sort of bands do you know? I mean, you know those. Well, anyway, I think most of us, one way or another, it's either from radio or going to a pub and listening to it. I remember when I was in Canada, Three Doors Down played their first gig in this dive joint that I was in, that I went to in Toronto, because I was there for my sister's wedding, and at night there was nothing much to do. So from my hotel, I just walked down the street. There were a couple of bars there, but unfortunately, everything was non-smoking, so that's the real bummer for me. So I ended up in this dive joint. Well, it was a strip bar. Let's call it what it is. It was a strip bar. It's the only one I know had a smoking room. So I stood there and watched the strippers go, and they were banging out some music and stuff like that. And I met a stripper. No, I didn't get a private dance. But I just told her, look, I'm just here to watch the music and listen to music, and most likely have my beer and smoke at the same time, right? And then she mentioned to me that, hey, you know, next door there's a rock band. It didn't even look like a club. It was so run down. It's a real dive joint, or it looked like a dive joint, but actually it's pretty good when you go inside. And lo and behold, when I went there, Three Doors Down was performing. So that was the first time that I heard of Three Doors Down. Truth Surge sounds familiar, man. I may have. I mean, I honestly, there are times when I just put on the radio and ride to work, rather than listen to my playlist. And there's a lot of bands that come on and I really like, and unfortunately, I can't stop and try to figure out what it was. But I may have heard Truth. I remember hearing the disc jockey mentioning Truth Surge. I'll go and check it out anyway. Right. So yeah. So I think a lot of the bands that we know, either because and most of the time we hear of it on the radio, or if you're lucky enough, get dragged to a concert, or you see posters of them and then you're curious and you listen and you decide to check them out. You know, the good thing about the internet and YouTube, you can search out these guys and listen to their music and get to know. Yeah, strippers and music. Yeah. Tell me about it. I mean, that was, to me, like I said, it was a choice. You know, to me, I had very little choice. I was at a bar when I walked down the street. This whole street. I was at a Holiday Inn, so walking down the street, there was at Toronto. There's this whole street of pubs and clubs and restaurants and everything else. And I hit a couple of the bars, and each time before I lit up, I noticed there were no ashtrays and everything else. When I asked the bartender, the guy said, you know, sorry, no smoking. If you want to, you go outside, pay up first, go outside, have your smoke, come back and finish your beer. So I was thinking, what the fuck, right? When you've had a couple of beers or whiskeys, in my case, and as a smoker, man, that's a bummer if you couldn't smoke, right? So I know it's a bad thing to be a smoker. I know I should quit, but fuck that. I'm too old anyway. So continue. So I found out from the last bar that I was, it said, listen, you know, if you really want to, oh, he's on YouTube and sings cover songs. Okay, I'll check him out. If you talk about cover songs and metal and everything else, I think another YouTube channel you should check out is Frog Leap Studios. Sorry, Frog Leap Studios. This guy from Sweden or Denmark or from Norway does a lot of good metal covers. Some of the really interesting covers as well. So maybe you could check him out. I think he plays and teaches. Yeah, I think so. I remember that. There's another guy called Ola Eglund as well. He's another Norwegian. He does talk about gears, and he does do teach a little bit about, but it's more advanced though because he's into metal and soloing and everything else. So anyway, back to the stripper thing. So I was on the last bar, and the guy said to me that, look, you know, if you want to smoke and you want to drink, go next door, right? And they have a smoking room. So I was thinking, yeah, fuck, great, right? So I went over there, and the moment I walked through the door, first thing I saw was the bouncer. So I thought, okay, what kind of place is this that needs a bouncer, right? It's either a disco or something else, and the disco, okay, fuck me if I have to listen to disco music. So I walked in, and it was a strip club, right? Shit. Okay, fine. You know, whatever. My goal was to get my drink on and smoke, right? So ordered my beer, took a look at the show and decided, okay, fuck that. Went into the smoking room, but of course, you know, the smoking room was a big glass place, and I could still see the show, so to speak, and have my drink and my cigarettes. I was happy as a clam, right? Yeah, Scooby, you need to get a computer set up. I need headphones and a mic. I mean, it's pretty cheap. You could always get these, you know, this Bluetooth thing, and this mic is pretty cheap as well. This is a Rode, RODE microphone. It's USB. I think I got this for about 60 US. You know, why not, right? And it does a good job. This is a professional microphone. I mean, I was quite surprised to get it at that price. But because it's USB, so it's cheap. But I think in terms of music and singing and everything else, I have a more expensive mic that I use with a proper interface and all that. So I think in the beginning you don't really need to go that far. In my case, because I am going to be doing music full on, so I invested in an audio interface and an awesome microphone, so that I can, you know, hopefully sing, right? But right, and again, how we got into music and how the music and the bands that we love is always related to the places we go in. It's either the radio or the pub. That's it. Let's be clear. Let's be honest, right? In Singapore, there isn't a lot of rock pubs. I know in the 90s it was pretty hard. The only place I could go to and listen to rock, so to speak, was a Hard Rock Cafe. And luckily enough, on the weekends, they normally have, they don't always have a top 40 band or those pop bands. They will actually have a couple of bands that will play rock. Middle of the road rock, not metal, but at least it's rock, right? They'll still play a couple of hair metal stuff and Queen and what have you, which is great, good enough. You know, if you had enough whiskey, it doesn't matter anyway, right? But I think that's where we'll probably get most of our stuff. And now, and before the sea thing happened, I would go to a couple of pubs now, and they would, hey Jonesy, what's up, man? Welcome. We're talking about music. If you want to dive in, Jonesy, that's the link. I was talking about dive bars and stripper joints and how we get to listen to the kind of music that we want to, but it's always the more enjoyable with friends, and you know, it's the best place to be. Sorry, I had to get a drink because I'm talking all the way and it's pretty dry. Cheers, by the way. And it's coffee, not whiskey. Although I would like to have it, I'd like to have it Irish, but at 10 o'clock in the morning, it's not going to happen. I'll be fucked up by 12. So then the day is gone for me, right? Yeah. So watching bands and stuff, and I know, for me anyway, when I travel overseas or when I'm riding, I'm always looking out for at the end destination for a good pub or a place to go to watch a good band. I don't know why, but Thailand, for whatever reason, has a big rock movement. You know, everybody loves rock there, and they really know how to get a drink on as well. And yeah, Africa, that was awesome, right? Africa, Frog Leap Studios, Africa, and they don't just do really metal. They do covers of stuff, and they make it. They turn those songs into metal. If you remember Nazareth, what was the name of that song? From Nazareth, they did it as well. They did a funny version of it as well, but it was still a rock version. It's a rock song, kind of a rock song, 70s rock song, but they did it in a modern way. And the guy's really very good. He plays all the instruments, and that's the kind of direction I was going anyway. But going back to what I was saying, in Thailand, they really know how to get a drink on, and they know how to party. And for whatever reason, no matter which part of Thailand I go, there's always a rock pub, man. That's why I fucking love going there. Because I know at the end of the destination, dinner, and then rock pub, watch the band perform, and they're always doing Slayers and Pantera and the old stuff and the new stuff, which is excellent, right? Because I don't get a lot of that here in Singapore for whatever reason, because everybody seems to be a bit more laid back and mainstream in the pubs. We only have one or two rock pubs, and now with the sea thing, zero. All the pubs are closed down, so I don't get my my fix, so to speak, on rock music. So it's either YouTube or radio. You don't drink anymore? Yeah, I know. Sometimes I think it's good. You know, I have actually cut down a lot. When I was in the hotel industry, I literally was on my drink every single day, not because I was an alcoholic, but in the hotel business, when you have to entertain, because I was at one point I was the F&B manager, food and beverage manager, and then later on a food and beverage director. From time to time, I would still have to, as you know, there's always a lounge or a kind of a pub in the hotel. And from time to time, I would still have to go down there and have a look and see how business is. And invariably, all the regulars will notice you. And you always end up having to drink with them. So that's tough. My general manager was an alcoholic, so if it wasn't entertaining clients, I had to entertain him, because at the end of the day, he'll come into my office and go, "Hey, Fletch, what are you doing?" "I'm doing my work, man. This is the only time I get my paperwork done." And he goes, "Forget it. I'll see you in the pub." I said, "Oh, fuck." And then when I get there, there's a bottle of whiskey on the table, and the two of us will finish it. He goes off in his merry way, and I'll be fucked up, and then I have to drag myself home, which was tough, right? Man, it was a tough 10 years or so. The only good thing is that I could hold my liquor. The bad thing was it started to get expensive to drink, right? Because then you want to get your buzz on, and you end up spending a lot of money just to get your buzz on. That's tough, man. So when I got into IT, I kind of slowed down in the beginning, and then at my current position, I had to entertain again, right, with my boss, son of a bitch. So ultimately ending up at least once or twice a week in a karaoke joint or a pub or what have you, a wine bar, and we always end up drinking a lot, because it would start with wines and end up with whiskey. And man, it's only later on when the entertainment stopped that I think for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, I would only once in a while go out, meet some friends, have a couple of beers. And that's the only time I'll drink. I don't go out just to drink. It's more social drinking than anything else, and more to watch the band or whatever. Although if I'm with a particular motorcycle club, then I would end up having to have my drink on again. But it's fun anyway. Yeah, it's tough, man. Scooby, I know as we get older, suddenly we can't drink as much as we can. I'm that way as well. I can't really drink that much beer because I get gut ache and stuff. I think it's just about age, man. More so me than you, though, right? As a boomer. But yeah. Hey, Jonesy, why don't you get on? Let's talk about music and stuff, man, and what's going on with you, and tell us about your plans for Sturgis, man. Yeah, social drinking. It's more about the music and friendship than anything else, right? As I mentioned, I do hang out at particular bars, and if a particular MC comes in, that's when things start to get rough. From the drinking perspective, they're nice guys, man. I mean, they may be part of a 1%er, but they're a bunch of teddy bears, man. They're a bunch of nice guys. Not like what you see in movies and stuff. But yeah, so that's the only time when I start to drink. So I try to avoid that as much as I can. But otherwise, it's more social drinking as well. But Jarvis, I just saw you, man. How's it going? I just saw your comment, man. Scooby, you got a drone? Man, that's the best, right? Take it out, fly it out. A good excuse to go on a ride, but you're right. If you're married or attached, I think it's you got to do a balance between work and, as it is with this YouTube shit, right? We always end up spending a lot of time on the ride, then editing this thing and putting it up. That's already taking a bit of time from our family and stuff. And then you add the drone in and what have you, then it starts to become a bit mad, right? Yeah. Hey, Jonesy, what's up?
Not too much, man. What's going on?
Good. I've been talking my ass off here alone.
I tell you, I see. It looks like it's still raining there, huh?
It is. Yeah. How can you tell?
Yeah. Well, I heard you saying it's been raining here all day today too.
It's fucking the moment I started the stream, I could hear the thunder and lightning. I was
Oh
thinking,
my God.
Jesus Christ.
You guys
I was like,
flooded over there. Holy
Jesus,
cow.
because it's almost biblical, man. I think if it continues, I think if it continues, I won't be surprised if I pull open the curtains and I see the ark, passing by.
Make sure that son bitch stops and picks you up.
Exactly, man. Yo, buddy, what's up? It's just
That's
one, right? You don't need to have two,
right,
just one, man. I'm good. I don't take much space, Just
There
me
you
and my
go.
guitar, maybe.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
Seriously, man. I mean, it's been, I don't know, a month. It's almost 30 days when you think about it, right? What was it with Noah? 40 days and 40 nights? We got 10 more days, man. I got 10 more days before it hits that shit.
Holy
we had floods and shit.
Oh, that would drive me insane. We had our floods here. We had flooded here back in the early spring, but
right.
It's been hotter than hell. And then now the next, we had rain today, and then they're talking this weekend. It's supposed to be down to like fall weather.
Okay, so then hopefully it improves when you go to Sturgis, right?
Hell yeah, man. I'm ready. I talked to my older brother today. They'll be here next Friday.
Okay.
And then we're heading out. So, yep, I'm ready, man.
Because I was reading somewhere that with Sturgis you always have to. I think it's going to rain there anyway. It's traditional anyway. I think it always rains in Sturgis just before, right? So you're probably going to expect some rain.
We had, I think, let's see, we was there year before last. We had 1 day that it rained on us. And,
right. Well, that's good.
Other than that, we had great weather. Great weather.
So. With global warming and shit, things might just change, right? I mean, this is what, August, right?
Right.
So August for us traditionally is the dry season.
Okay.
Funny, right? And this is the time, because I know that it's always end of July, most of August, that I'll be really flying up to Thailand and Malaysia and what have you. And I know that I don't have to bring any kind of rain gear. I could actually start wearing mesh and stuff on the bike. But look at this shit. You can't see behind this crap. But
you're gonna have to take oars with you now.
I know. Fuck me. Probably have to get the fucking scuba gear or something. Fucking. Is this to be on a submarine, man?
Yeah, no shit. Oh god dang, yeah. So, but no, we're looking forward to it, man. I tell you, we're just we're stoked about it, and then we're just we're gonna go out there and just have a good time, have a damn blast.
I'm sure it is, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're gonna hit the Buffalo Chip. Is that what it is?
Yep, Buffalo Chip, Full Throttle Saloon. I'm gonna hit them both, absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's the famous ones, right?
Yep, I got a buddy. Actually, I got 3 or 4 buddies that's leaving tomorrow morning. They're heading out tomorrow morning.
Wow.
And they're staying at the Full Throttle Saloon campground out there. So.
Right.
Yep.
But I think that would mean that they're heading into the beginning of
the beginning of the rally, right? So we're going to be going at the end of it. Yeah.
Hey, Raleigh.
Hey, Raleigh.
What's up? Thank God for you guys, man. I'm fucking running out of breath. I just realized. Just looked at the little countdown clock at the corner, and I've been talking my ass off for an hour by myself.
Nobody
so I surprised myself.
I've been busy and they just got to sit down, but it's like, holy cow. Yeah.
So I'm glad that you guys come on.
Oh yeah.
So you were saying Buffalo Chip and what was the other place?
Full Throttle Saloon.
Full Throttle Saloon. Yeah. I've read so much and watched so much stuff on it. And what got me pissed off at the fact that I can't go because the sea shit, right?
Right.
I was watching, I don't know what the fuck it was, Netflix or something. And they were actually doing a feature on Sturgis, which pissed me off even more. Fuck.
Do you guys have audio from me?
Yes, we do. I can hear you, man. You could hear us, right?
Yeah. Could you hear me initially?
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah, Scooby. 508 Diner kept me going because we were having a chat, but he didn't want to come on. But I was still having a chat with him. So that was pretty cool, man. Hey, thanks a lot, Scooby. I would love it if you could come on here as well. You know, unless you're busy or something. But yeah. So I was like watching this thing on I don't know what the fuck it was, Netflix or what have you, and it was talking about Sturgis and all that. So I was pissed the fuck off, you know.
Wow. Yeah,
Jesus.
Wow.
It's
you know, they've been. Actually, I just had a buddy just got back from there too. Now he went out there early before it all starts and everything. A lot of people go out there before it starts and then leave. But he said he had a good time out there. He was, you know, he likes to go out there before the big crowd. You know, and that's kind of. I mean, you know, we'll see the big crowd there for a day or so, and then after that, you know, and we'll just go out there, like I said, and just ride over the Black Hills, all over the Black Hills, you know, just hit the places. Yeah.
Hey, while on twos, what's up? Welcome, man. Yeah. Raleigh, what's up, man?
Yes, sir. Oh,
are you at work? Are you?
Yeah, I am actually, but I've just finished up. I don't have any more clients today, so that's good.
Oh, okay. See, that's the thing, you know.
The weather's not too bad. Yeah, I was going to actually go for a ride in a little bit, so that's good.
Yeah, you should. Don't be like Fletch.
Don't be like Fletch.
Yeah, don't be like Fletch and sit at home and fucking rot.
Fletch is he's got oars and a life jacket now.
Yeah. I got my scuba gear on. I was just before you came on. I don't know if you heard it or not.
Yeah.
Right? No, I didn't. I only just jumped on.
You just jumped on. Right now, it is about almost a month of raining not non-stop, but it rains in the day, god damn it, right? For 30 days. Another 10 more days is biblical, right?
Yeah.
We get the fucking ark. Well, you're probably passing by my window, and I'm on the seventh floor, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
See the ark fucking passing by. So I go lower, buddy. What's up? And I come on, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And Jesus giving you the finger.
Exactly. Fuck off, mate.
Yeah. Not good.
You're not on my list, and I'm not Santa, right? You're not on my list. Fuck off. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Not good, man. Not good.
I know. Wow. But you know, Jonesy, you're lucky. It's the evening for you. And we're both in daytime, and it's normally it's work time for me, but it's a public holiday today, so I'm pretty lucky for that. That's why I'm not too stressed. You don't see me looking at my phone. I couldn't give a fuck anyway if there's somebody send me an email. Right? Fuck it. I'll just say it's a public holiday, cunt. You know, I'm not supposed to be fucking working. Pay me, asshole.
Yeah,
you know, unless it's something serious or something. But normally, no. I mean, I'm in IT, so. The infrastructure is pretty solid, unless somebody fucks up, you know. But otherwise, no. Right.
That's fair
pretty
enough.
Cool, man. Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Oh yeah.
So you haven't been able to ride, I take it.
No. Because, like I said, in the weekday, I'm working from home, right? So I'm always on either a conference call or on my emails or putting out stuff and everything else. And the moment I think that I'm okay to go and ride, I look out the window and it's fucking pissing. You know, it's been that way. Yeah. So I hope tomorrow what I'm going to do is probably wake up really early, because I notice it always happens after 9. So what I'll do is probably get up really early at 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And just get out there for a half an hour or something and fucking just get it done, you know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's real stupid that the damn thing just parked there, you know?
It'll rust.
I know. No, it's already rusted, man.
Oh,
it's because in Asia, and I'm not sure where you are, how the humidity is, right? Even if it doesn't rain here, it rusts.
Yeah, right.
Right. The humidity here is insane.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm always having to get the brush out and and take out some, and it's always the shit that's the most obvious, right? You know, with the Harley, you have, in fact, most motorbikes, the cruising bikes as well, with the exhaust, they always have this screw that holds up the exhaust, right, on the bracket. That the one that's sticking out. That's the fucker that always gets rusted, you know? Right? And it's the first thing you see, right? You come to your bike, go, fuck me, it's rusted again. Right? Then you're gonna scrub it out, WD-40. It doesn't affect the integrity of the screw, right? I do check on it as well anyway, but it's just the outside. It just looks like shit, you know. Pisses me off no end.
Now here the weather's been like I might be stuck doing stuff for a couple of hours with clients or whatever. I think, you beauty, as soon as I go, I'll go for a ride. As soon as they go, it's pissing out with rain. You know, something like that, or it's really bad or cold. But anyway, but today looks all right, so I might be able to squeeze something out in an hour or two. Yeah, I
saw your video yesterday. You did a ride out and you did some video and drone shots, right?
Yeah.
That was really looking very good, man. The colors were excellent, man.
Yeah, it was cold. It was cold. That's only just down the road from me. I drove down there, but I bought myself a backpack to put the drone in to ride around with. So yeah, and I charged up the drone and I was going to go for a ride somewhere and do some drone work, but I just went out to wave off or say see you later to the client, and it's bloody windy as hell. So the whole drone concept's gone, but the riding concept's not. That's still in.
Yeah, no, you should do that. Yeah. Fuck the drone sometimes, you know. Just go.
Yeah. Yeah. Superman Kev, good. Thank you. I just saw the comments down the side there. Down.
I saw that too.
The side there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have my computer. I'm on my phone, so I can't see the comments.
All right.
Okay. Now, that's tough.
Did you get my message, or you got my message?
I got your message, and actually, it's leaving in the morning.
Oh, right. At what time was that for you that you sent that, or that I did?
Actually, when you sent that to me, I was busy, and I didn't get to it till later on tonight. But right now, it's 10 after 9.
10 after 9. Oh, okay.
9:10 p.m. Yes.
Right.
So, but yeah, I got your message and everything, and I took it to the post office, and then the lady goes, I said, well, it's in Australia, and she says, well, you know, and I go, well, you know what? I'm gonna message him and find out, and then when you South Australia, and I go, well, there we go. That's all I need right there, then.
Yeah. Sorry, I totally forgot to add that in.
That's all right.
Yeah. I'm only functioning on the one brain cell I've got left. So. Yeah.
I went out for a nice ride yesterday. I rode, 200 and I forget what the mileage was. I posted and everything, the mileage and what I did, but it was a trip that me and my father-in-law rode quite often. And it was that, I went over and picked up Route 66 here in Illinois, and I went all the spots, and I must have posted about 50 or 60 something pictures on Instagram, I think it was.
Okay.
I saw that.
I didn't do any video on though. I just, I was just out riding, just
enjoying it rather than working it. Yeah.
Absolutely. It was just,
I rode down to my son's yesterday, and we both went out for lunch. That was really good, but when I got there, the sky was clear and everything else. But just as we were leaving, it was like the London fog had come in. We actually thought there was a fire somewhere, but the cloud I'd never seen in my life was so low and so thick. The fog was amazing, and we were riding through it, I had to constantly, wipe my bloody visor. But I've never been in a fog that thick. I'm saying to my son, this is like a sci-fi movie, like what's it called? The Mist. I don't know if any of you guys seen that, but it was like that. It was absolutely pea soup. In fact, I've got it on my phone. However, I don't know if that'll actually come through all that well. Does that turn?
How weird.
Oh, you probably can't work it out. Oh, it just.
I can see it. No, yeah.
Oh,
Hey, Kev.
Hey,
yeah.
What's up?
how are you?
It ended up being piece it. We could probably only see up to 5 meters in front of us, and we're on the highway. It's like 65 mile an hour stuff, and we were down to like 25, 30 mile an hour because we just could not see.
Right.
Yeah,
So it was amazing. But at least we got a ride in.
Yeah, no, that's really important. I think we don't have much fog here, right? Although for whatever reason, right? I think it's this part of the world. Fog is not. I think it has to be a confluence of a lot of things for it to happen, and because of the fucked up weather we've been having over the last couple of years and global warming and shit, right? That I actually encountered one last year. I was so surprised, and it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I was thinking, what the fuck? You know, fog, right? Jesus, well, this supposed to happen.
This was at 1 o'clock
in the afternoon.
Yeah,
shit.
And it just came in, you know, and I've never seen it ever like this. So something weird's going on. I don't know what it is.
I believe so, mate. Fuck. Things are going to the crapper, mate.
It's them wet bats.
It was that motorized arc that over to Fletcher's place.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
it.
Exactly. Hey, Kev, what's up?
I'm riding along thinking I'm going to have to get a chamois here. How are you, Mr. Kev? It is Kevin, isn't it?
Yeah, me.
Oh. Yeah, Superman Kev. Yeah,
it's the Superman Kev.
That's me. That's me.
How's it going, man?
It's nighttime where you are. Hell, that's no.
It is. It is nighttime.
What's happened?
It's 10 o'clock at night.
God, you guys are upside down. Me and Fletcher on the right side of the planet.
Yeah, exactly, man. We ride on the right side of the road, and we fucking have the right time as well.
Do you?
Yeah. Can't understand you guys, you know, fucking the wrong side of the road. Jesus Christ.
You know what? We drive on the right side of the road.
Oh yeah. The wrong side, yeah.
You drive on the wrong side. We drive on the right side.
It's just fucking Brits, right? It's because of these guys, you know. They have to be fucking different. You know, if you go over to Europe, it's the right-hand side. You know, so I think it's only the British, it's England and all the British colonies that fucking get it wrong. The rest of the world, we have to adjust. Because I remember, where was it? Okay, maybe Switzerland, France is on the left-hand side. But the moment you go further north, you hit Germany and you hit
on the right.
The rest. Everything's on the right. So, and then if you go south, Italy is the same. It's on the right-hand side. So you get fucked up the moment you cross the Swiss border and go, motherfuckers coming straight for me. What the shit? Oh, the fuck. You know? Then I get pulled over by the cop and the guy goes, hey, listen, you know, where are you from? I said, well, I'm from Singapore, but I'm in Switzerland. I said, I don't know where you're from. Wrong side of the road. Get the fuck off on the other side. You know? Or don't ride. Like I was on my motorcycle, right? So fuck. So it's like we cross the border, right? I know I was just crossing over to because Switzerland, I don't know if you know, Switzerland is basically right in the center of everything. Right? So if you go north, northeast, northwest, you hit France. Right? If you go northeast, you hit Germany. If you go south, you hit Italy. And it's like about 4 hours away. So from where I was in Switzerland's Montreux, and it takes me about 2 hours to get to the border to cross to Italy. Right? So going across bloody immigration and shit, and suddenly, right after you've done your passport shit and everything else, you get on the bike and you cross the border, and suddenly everybody's trying to kill you. Right? Why are these cunts on the wrong side of the road? You know, and say, what the fuck are they
Because
doing?
you're
you know?
one.
Yeah, I know. I'm the one. You know, I'm the asshole that decides to ride on the left hand side. You know, fuck me. Anyway, Travis, what's up?
Oh, not much. I figured I'd come on for just a little bit and say hi. And
Yeah, come on, more the merrier, man. Yeah.
Back from your trip, huh?
yeah, it was a little shorter than we originally planned, but
Okay. Looked like you had a good time.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. In
yeah.
fact, I just got through editing the first day.
There you go.
About 6 hours worth of editing for a 25-minute video.
Woo.
My God. Yeah, no.
It's a lot of bullshit.
I know. Where do you go anyway?
So we basically went from center of Ohio down to Beckley, West Virginia, spent a night in Beckley. Then we went a little further south and jumped on to the Blue Ridge Parkway south of Roanoke, Virginia.
Right.
And rode it for a while, got off, stopped at actually it was a motorcycle-centric campground, which was kind of cool.
Okay.
Spent a night there. We were going to do 2 nights there, but we ended up cutting it short because of the weather.
Right.
And then jumped back on the parkway, did some more bit. We didn't end up finishing the parkway. That was part of the original plan, was to go all the way to the end.
Right.
And then we basically started working our way north and went through Tennessee and Kentucky and back to
You
Ohio.
had your kid with you, right?
It's actually my son's best friend.
Oh, okay. And your son as well, right? No?
No. My son doesn't ride. After an incident with the mini bike, he's not allowed.
Okay. Right.
He cost me 3 knee surgeries and $15,000 out of pocket.
Oh my God. Welcome back, Raleigh. Yeah.
There he is.
Oh, yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
Now I gotta ask this question because I'm pretty sure several of you guys, the Hero 7, do you guys have problems with this thing overheating?
Mine's a brick already.
I've heard that a lot about that and the 8.
Yeah, I don't have the problem with the 8. But the 7 gave me nothing but shit.
But here's a question though, Travis. Are you recording at full 4K or are you doing 1080?
2K is what I normally do on the 8. I started out 2K on the 7. I even bumped it down to 1080 60 and was still having overheating problems.
Updates? Did you do an update on it?
Because everything's up to date.
But honestly, I was starting to have those problems on my 7, right? And I went on YouTube and technical support with GoPro, and they were telling me to do all these things, flash the thing, upgrade the stuff. For fuck's sake, don't record for long periods at 4K. So I was thinking, Jesus Christ, I bought this fucking thing for 4K, and I'm back to the 1990s at 1080p, right?
Right.
So, but for whatever reason, no matter what I did, it still heated up. They can't seem to be able to fix it, and now basically it's a paperweight for me. It was
gone. So weird. I was using the 7 as a face cam,
right?
And I was like, okay, well, if because I had it right behind the windshield, and I'm like, okay, well, I've got one of the like bendy GoPro sticky things,
right?
This thing.
Yep.
So I literally bent it over so it was sticking out just past the windshield. Still overheated.
Yeah, no, I think it's a problem with the 7. I have a 5. I have a 5 and an 8, and I also had the 7. Right, my 5 still going strong, fine, no problems at all, no overheating. My 8 doesn't overheat. My 7 overheated and now doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, this
fuck is a brick.
Like I said, 7's going back.
You guys have got me thinking I don't want to upgrade. I'm using a 4 black, and
yeah.
I have no trouble with it.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm not going to update. Everyone's having problems, and the center, the software. What do you call it? Firmware issues with the center.
Which one?
The latest one. Their camera.
The 7?
The 10C Pro.
Yeah.
The 10C Evo, right? Yeah. I have the 10C Evo. No issues.
Oh, people have been having firmware issues with that.
Really?
And it's been dumping its brains. They plug it in, reload it. 2-3 times later, it's crapped itself again.
Oh, okay.
And listen, I've taken offence to that, 1080p back in the 1990 stuff there, Fletch. That's what I'm on. I've got a GoPro 3. It's got a crank handle on the side that I've got to wind it up.
Now listen, mate. I still record at 1080p because fuck me in the size and everything else, right? So I still record in 1080p. It's just that it just bums me off that when I do use 4K, it's more for the standard stuff and the talking head kind of thing. But when I'm on the bike and I'm doing long, you end up about half an hour footage, right? And you're having the thing on for half an hour or more. Yeah. So chances are I don't want to consume too much space and have that huge amount of data to edit through. So 1080p is a good size, I think, and you can always up-res it to 4K anyway.
It's funny because this obviously came in quite a bit of handy. And for any of you guys, this is the WD Passport Wireless Pro.
Right.
Basically has a SD card slot. No, it's probably hard to see, but it's got an SD card slot, and you can just pop the card in, turn it on, push a button. It uploads all the images to the drive. 728 gigs is what I took on this trip.
That's a terabyte, right? It's a big one, right?
This is a 4 terabyte.
4? Oh, fuck. Yeah. I think for trips, you need something like that, if you want to be able to transfer shit, if you're on long trips. And I'm sure, Jonesy, I'm looking forward to all your Sturgis videos.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I'll be doing a lot of live stuff on Instagram, too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm old school, man. I just take a whole bunch of SD cards and just keep putting new ones in.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same.
That's what I mean, and that's me. I got a lot of SD cards, and whatever I use that day, then that night I transfer them over to my thumb drives, and then cleans all my SD cards out, and I'm ready to go the next day. But I've got I probably got 8 or 10 SD cards that I carry with me.
I mean, I like that better anyway, because then you can go like, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4,
Well, that's what
I'm with you.
I bought a 256 gig card, and let me tell you, you can shoot all day on a 256 gig.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, I'm going to step out for a minute. You guys carry on, right? Give me about 5 minutes to be back, because apparently I have to pick up this call.
Okay.
Yeah? All right. So
enjoy.
So you guys carry on for a few minutes, and I'll be back.
I'm sure we'll cope.
Yeah.
But I've got the 7, and then I've got what do I got? 2 3s and a 7. And I actually haven't had any problem with my 7 right now. But I probably hadn't. I'll find out when we go to Sturgis here in another week or so, because I'm gonna be using it probably quite a bit then.
I hope it doesn't give you any grief. That'd be a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, my 3s don't give me no problems.
And
I still do all of my stuff in 1080 anyway, because my computer is old, and you can't, if you don't have your computer, a newer computer or whatever, you can't.
Yeah, it'll take forever to render it.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't feel like buying a new computer right now.
I don't even want to say how much money I probably have wrapped up in my computer, but I don't have any problem. I can do 4K if I want. Like I said, I shoot 2K for both size concerns, but 2K at least is nice because you do get that little extra resolution. Because I've had those instances where it's like I needed to zoom in on something,
right,
and you can still see it, on the video.
Yeah.
Just the one thing you can't really get with the 1080p. That's the only that's the real advantage of having 2K or 4K is being able to zoom in on something important.
Right.
I tried using 4K for a little while, and it took up so much space on a card. Like you don't get anything on a card. And then I shoot with 280 60 frames, I guess. Is that it?
1080 60, I think. Yeah, I believe that's what mine is. 1080 60.
Yeah. 1080 frames, and it's good quality, and on YouTube it looks fine, So that's just what I use.
I do like on my 7 though. I tell you, it's got that stabilization, and same as the 8. And boy, you can really tell a difference from that one to my 3.
Yeah, if there's anything GoPro does better than anybody else, it is the stabilization.
Right, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I bought an Akaso V50 Pro action cam. They're really cheap. Got it on Amazon for like $150, and it's got stabilization in it. Wow, what a difference! You know.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to stabilize it in the computer because that's what I normally do.
Oh, right? I've tried to do that so many times, and even with my machine, it takes like forever to go through the stabilization.
Well, I guess it depends on how big your clips are, right? Like for me, like my average clip, I use a lot of clips on all of my videos. I don't usually have anything over 5 seconds, you know, and then I switch it.
Right.
So to stabilize 5 seconds doesn't take very long.
Is the GoPro 3? Do they run stabilization?
I think the 4. I think there was some some minor like digital stabilization. I think the major advances in stabilization was the 4 and newer.
The 4.
Okay. Right.
But my 3, though, like I said, I've had it for I don't know, 5-6 years now, maybe, whatever. I don't remember what it is. But I still use the hell out of both of them.
Well, and one of the reasons I went the 8 originally because I wanted to use the media mod because obviously it has the microphone jack and the power jack separate. So I didn't have to use any crazy adapters because I think that's completely stupid. I don't know why they just don't put the damn jack on the thing to begin with.
Well, it's unbelievable, yeah.
And and it worked great. I mean, even on the trip, and it got wet. I mean, that was one of the reasons why we cut the trip early because of the storms. And so far, no problems.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I'm back.
Now, I will say in chat, 508 Dinah was asking if any of us messed with the 360. Now, I know, Fletch, I think you've been playing with 360.
I actually have 2. I bought the Insta360 when it first came out. The Insta360 One, the long one. No, I had it 2 years when it first came out a long time ago, and I wanted to. The reason why I wanted to get it was because, like I said, I was traveling up to Thailand a lot, and they have a lot of great mountain ranges and stuff. So when you're on top of that, and if you have your regular camera, you say, "Oh, I'm here on the mountain, how beautiful it is," and all that, and you either see me a little bit of the background, or you just see the front, right? So then with the 360, you get to see everything, right? And actually show people how beautiful it is, and not to mention the drone, of course, right? And then it gave up the ghost after a while because I was using it quite often. So it lasted about 2 years or so, and I gotten the new one, which is the Insta360 One R. And the good thing about it is that it's not only a 360, but you can actually swap out the module and do the 4K one, and that's even more better than the GoPro, surprisingly, in terms of colors and resolution and everything else. And I could still keep it at 4K, and it doesn't heat up. That's just so weird,
Can you run like external battery with that, or do you can only use the internal battery?
You can't. They have. I think you can. You can. For whatever reason, just like the GoPro, the case, you have access to the door, right? And you can stick in a power bank or something if you want to. So you can strap up a power bank if you want to keep it going. But for I think it lasts pretty good. I remember taking about an hour and a half of video. It was fine.
Well, that's double the GoPro.
Exactly. So I was quite surprised that this is 360, mind you. Right? Because what I did was just took as much as I could of the place and everything else, for memory's sake. And I just let it run as I was walking around, or I could actually put it on my handlebar and everything else. And they got, like, GoPro has their stabilization, whatever they call it. So I think Insta360 has the hyper smooth or whatever, and it's really as good as, if not better, than the GoPro. So I tend to use it quite a bit as well.
I would say from what I've seen of the app, the editing is so much better on the Insta360. I've got one of the old Samsung Gear 360s from the ball head, the second gen version, and it records okay, but it's absolutely a pain in the ass to edit.
I think the newer ones you could actually literally edit on your phone, right? You could decide what you want to do and everything else, and you can just whip it out straight away, you know. So that you can have you can edit on the go and everything else. And I think that's another good thing, because I tried doing that with the GoPro, so I don't know how Paul does it. When you link up wirelessly to your phone and try to edit it, you know, it's fucking insane to edit on the GoPro. So I end up always just transfer it to my computer and edit on Final Cut Pro. But it's easier on the 360 for whatever reason. You know, it's a good camera. I think it just adds something different to what you're doing. And I think you've seen the videos that I put out on the 360. I literally mounted it on my handlebar, right? So I can decide whether at one point I can swing it to me and do a face-to-face, or swing it out to the front and see what I'm doing or where I'm riding, and I can swing it to the right and to the left and whatever, and you can get the views and everything else. And I thought that was the best thing to do. The only problem is that to get audio on it, right? So if you're talking, you literally have to sync the audio later on in post. I'm waiting for this adapter, and I've been waiting for months for it, so that I could hook up my wireless mic to it. So then I don't have to bring that much stuff anymore. So it's just one camera with a wireless mic, and then I can do my vlogs with just that one camera. Right now it's two. Right, I have the 5 and the 8 mounted on my helmet, and there's so much things to mess with and everything else. So that's so much better, I think, if they can get that fucking adapter, which I've been waiting on for so long. And as you know, Insta360 it's a Chinese company, right? So with the lockdown and everything else, fuck all you get. Whatever you order is like still waiting. And I ordered it off eBay, and I paid for it, and the fucker's still stuck in. Yeah, the fucker's still stuck in China, man. Son of a bitch.
Not good. Not good.
Yeah, and then probably when it gets to my post office and they see it's from China, they probably fucking Lysol the shit and let it breathe. Let it breathe for a month before I get it. So it's like 3 months plus the 1 month wait in the post office after they disinfect and put on their radiation gear and shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will.
Flex, I hope it fucking floods over in China.
I know. Son of a bitch ought to get that. Then it goes. Then you get this biblical thing from Egypt, right? You know, you get the plague. Then you get the fucking floods.
Yeah.
So you know they fucked it to get frogs, right? That's the last one, if I remember. I know it started off with
Oh shit!
with what was the first thing? It was floods, right?
Floods.
Then you had the floods. Then you had the plague, and it fucking works. So you get the frogs, right?
Yeah.
That's when you know. That's when they know they're fucked.
Yeah.
Wasn't there locusts in there too?
That's a locust.
Yeah. No, they came with the plague, right? So that was the if I remember correctly. And again, this is not from the Bible, but from Charlton Heston's thing, right? The movie, right? Because we don't read books, including the Bible. We watch the movie. No, I read the Bible as well. But so if I remember from Charlton Heston's movie, it was the floods, right? So listen, I told you so. Then if it wasn't that, right, here comes the plague, and it starts. He's the guy, right? And he was just standing there with his staff and looking on and telling the Egyptian guy, you know, the next one's on the way, right? And you see the fucking locusts come, and everyone get hit with a plague, right? And the last one is frogs, man. I'm still not too sure about the frog thing, but they know.
Keep your eye out. That's all I can say.
Exactly. So if China's got the floods, they've already got the plague. They're the bastards that gave it to us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if they open their window and see fucking frogs, they're fucked.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's game over. Fucking game over, man.
That's if they haven't eaten them all.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no. Yeah, it. But, you know, it's on the streets and shit hopping. That's fucked. Legendary fuck.
Oh shit!
I know.
I'm starting to feel nervous now.
I got too much time.
I'm gonna have to therapize myself.
Yeah.
Wally, when you get out there riding, just watch for frogs.
I will be. I'll be.
Locusts are in Africa.
Locusts already in Africa. Yeah.
So, Jones, did you say something about you were going to Sturgis?
Yeah.
So how long of a ride is that for you?
Well, if I ride it, I'm not riding a trailer this year, but I think it's about 990 miles from here.
Yeah, we ended up doing we just cracked over 1,000 miles for this trip.
That's a great trip. Now, I've seen some of your pictures and some of your stuff there. Yeah,
dude, like the views.
Had a good time. I seen the one place you was at. You was showing the rain. It's like, yeah, I remember those days.
Man, there was one day we were on the mountain here at the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it just, you know, we kind of, you know, we were looking at the radar, and it's like, it looks like it'll blow through. We're going over the mountains, no big deal. Right. It just pours buckets, and we didn't put our rain gear on like we should have, and then we get totally soaked. My bike going over the mountain is down, like it's going down to one cylinder. It's spitting and sputtering at me. Not happy at all. And I'm like, literally just keep, you know, playing with the throttle. I'm on a 20-year-old Sportster,
right?
You know, it's spitting and sputtering, and it's not happy going over the mountain. And finally get over the mountain. That day we only did like 65 miles that day, because my bike was not happy at all. But you know what? I'll give credit to the kid that was riding with us, Nash. He's 17 years old, riding an 85 Goldwing, full fairing Goldwing, man, handling that thing like a pro. Wow, and he'd maybe not even put 100 miles before we did that trip.
Wow.
So,
well, that's awesome, man.
Well, you
that's
know,
the way it's supposed to be.
Last year we did that trip, and it was I think it's about 8,700 miles. We was gone for 3 weeks and 3 days, and out of that whole time, we didn't get rained on once. Every time we stopped at the motel, and this happened like 3 times, the rain was coming in, and we got parked and got unloaded and everything, and then it just poured buckets. But as far as out during the ride during the days, we never got one drop on us. Yeah. And boy, I tell you what, we was lucky. And that was all out here where you was just at, out in the Blue Ridge Parkway and Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, and even all the way out to California. We didn't have any rain on us anywhere.
Yeah, on the second to last day, we were thinking we were going to make the whole 400 miles straight home.
Right.
And but we got to around we got into Kentucky, and we started looking at the radar, and it was this big line of storms coming through Ohio and southern, right into Kentucky.
Right.
And we're like, you know what? It was like 65 miles before the border. I'm like, let's try to huff it. I booked a hotel on the border. I'm like, we'll just huff it up there. Man, I'm hauling balls, and I won't say exactly how fast I was going, but let me say I wasn't doing the speed limit. And so just hauling balls, trying to get up there, and we find literally as we pull into the hotel, it starts sprinkling right before it starts sprinkling, and I'm like, gee, many Christmas. And the guys are looking back at me and telling me how fast they were going, and I'm like, yeah, well, I wasn't stopping.
Jesus Christ! Between the rain and one cylinder, it sounds like it was a nightmare.
No, it was funny. The first day on the Goldwing, we make it down to my stepdad's house, which was like the first 60 or so miles, and we chat a little bit, and then we was like, okay, let's get ready and go. Boy he turns the key to the bike, nothing. Won't turn, dash not turned on, nothing. Yeah. Our hearts are dropping. Like he's ready. He's ready to call his parents up and tell him to come bring his other bike. He's going to make it on a Honda Magna from the 80s. And well, we ultimately determined the battery just died. We ran into the advanced auto parts, picked up a battery, threw the acid in, half an hour back to my stepdad's house, threw the battery in, fired up. We put it on the charger for about 45 minutes and then took off.
Yep.
And I know Kev has had battery problems as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen those videos, man. What the fuck? Oh man, yeah. But you guys, do you wear riding gear that's waterproof, or you just wear what you want to wear and just put on the rain gear where you need to?
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And the jacket I have, I wouldn't call it waterproof. Like, light rain, it's perfectly fine. But once it gets heavy, it gets soaked. It will get soaked.
Okay. Just real quick, they don't make a rain gear that don't leak, because I rode in the rain 3 days from Cheyenne, Wyoming to here, and let me tell you what, I was drenched, and I had all my rain gear on. So after a couple hundred miles, it don't matter.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest here. I think most of the rain gear is shit anyway.
Yeah.
Right. But for whatever reason, like I know if I'm riding through a period of time where I know that it will surely rain, right? Because in Asia, it's just rain or sun, right? We don't get the four weathers, but so it's going to rain quite a fair bit sometimes, depending if you're like riding closer towards October and November. That's the monsoon period. Right. So I would literally have riding gear that is waterproof. I don't just wear the Harley shit doesn't work. Sorry to say, right? No. I may ride a Harley, but the fucking thing doesn't work. So I actually use Climb, which is made for adventure, the adventure riders, right?
Right.
And let me tell you, torrential rain and what have you, I'm bone dry. I look like an idiot on a Harley with a yellow piece of shit and wearing right those really heavy stuff, right? It looks like you look like a yellow Santa Claus.
Well, a friend of mine, he was riding the Harley, but he pulled out some rain gear, and when it was on the Parkway, this was back 4 years ago, and this was actually a BMW rain suit, and it was a jumpsuit, and he said that's the best shit you could get.
No, it's true.
He said that he stayed dry, and it's just a one piece, man. You just step into it and zip her up. But yeah,
it works, right? So this company called Climb, or I don't know how you pronounce it, KLIM, right? They're made for the adventure riders and everything else. And here's the funny thing about and the Dainese as well, right? So these two that I have, and the funny thing is that it has wind flow as well. So you think that with waterproof stuff, you're in a diving suit or something, you're sweating tons inside and everything else. But there's airflow, man, and not a drop of water goes in. You're still bone dry. That's so weird, right? Yeah. It's not cheap. It's not cheap at all.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys that run the Aero Stitch stuff too.
Right. But I think that's the best, because I think to me, it first of all, it's really I'm not sure how it is on the highways in the United States, and I know in Australia it's about the same, because there are hardly any rest stops. In Australia, I think it's like every 100 miles you have a rest stop, right? And in between there is just open road. Yeah, open country. So if it suddenly starts to rain and you pull off to the side of the road, I think that's the most dangerous thing you could do.
Right?
Because nobody could, in anywhere in the world, right? And same in Singapore, whether it's Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, in Australia, or I'm not sure in the States, but I think it's the most dangerous thing you could do. Is get off the bike, start putting on your shit. Nobody can see you anyway, and you get fucked if someone comes around the corner, right? So that's why I always wear, when I look at it and I know that, okay, I'm really going to be riding through rain anyway, so I wear I put on the waterproof shit and just go. So I don't want to stop. I stop at the proper rest stop. Otherwise, it starts to be dangerous. I'm not sure about you guys, but that's the way I would do it, because that for whatever reason, the cunts on the road don't look out for anything, and if they pull off to the side, they're not going to care if there's a motorcycle there or not. They might just run through you. So that's scary, man. That's really scary. Anyway, Kev, any plans on riding? Long distances, I mean, not around the house, but not around the neighborhood.
Around the house.
What I was supposed to be gone this weekend on a 3-day ride, but it got sold. The event that I was going to was a large event. Right. It was a national event in Canada here, and any more than 10 people you can't have. And this was, 300 people for this one event, and I couldn't go. I was curious. I was going to ask these other guys, like Sturgis, how are they going to do that?
Sturgis never, South Dakota's never shut down once all year long. There's just, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I know what it's like here, and we can't do anything. I mean, there's nothing open. No restaurants are open. It's just takeout. There's you can't have any more than 10 people anywhere. And, you know, like, things are starting to open up a little bit, but we still, I mean, we feel like we've got the thing under control here.
Right.
You know, like, I don't know. It's just, to me, it just seems a little crazy to have big events when there's all this going on, you know?
Well, and that's why a lot of the stuff they're doing, you know, they're not having the big concerts or not.
Right.
There's a bunch of stuff that they're not doing this year, but they pretty much, the reason they're even doing Sturgis is because they said people are going to show up regardless. They're going to be responsible for EMT, fire, and all that stuff anyway. They might as well make some money on the deal. So
that's pretty much South Dakota's money makers for the whole year.
Yeah, Kev.
Yeah.
And
well, you know what? Like, I couldn't go to it if I wanted to because the border is closed and would be closed. Is going to be closed for a year, is what they're telling us.
Yeah, the whole year.
You know, the thing is, we're staying.
Wow.
We're staying.
They're saying in Canada they're not going to open the border until the U.S. gets it under control, and
that ain't happening.
It's never going to happen. They don't have the flu under control. I take a flu shot every year, and I get the flu every year, so it don't matter. It's not, you know what I mean.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, even everywhere we went, you know, masks were pretty much required.
Right.
You know, the social distancing thing.
And that's what's going to happen out there. And they've already said, you know, the mask stuff and all that. Now, if you're riding a motorcycle, that's one of the reasons. And it's just not this year, but I've always done it in the past. That's why I always go to the end of it, because I go out there more for the ride anyway. And then we stay the whole week after Sturgis is over. So it's not crazy busy. We don't stay in Sturgis. We stay in Custer, which is 40 miles to the south. So you know what I mean. So we're away from the huge crowds and all that, and that's the way I like it, because I'm going out there for a little R&R relaxation and riding. Yeah. That's, you know, you go to one, all rallies are all the same. I don't care if it's Sturgis or any of them; they're all the same. So,
yeah. Hey, Raleigh, what about yourself, man? Any riding plans? Long distance, I mean, not just to the beach.
It's still basically that's true. Still winter, so you know, haven't got that far yet. Give it another month or so. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, I forgot, man. Yeah, you guys are upside down. I forgot. Yeah, down under.
That's
down
it.
under, mate.
He's working. He wants that professional beach bum category, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, I want to. I want to do a couple of long rides this year. Did a couple last year, but I didn't record them.
Right.
But will this year. But and another twist is my daughter's decided to get her license, so that's good.
Wow, awesome.
We went to the bike shop yesterday and had a bit of sniff around. Ninja 400 looks like it's going to be the pick.
Good bike.
She has to get a license, obviously, and been trying to ring up to book in for that. They're absolutely booked out. Everyone's gone, let's get a bike.
Yeah.
So might have to wait a couple of months, which is a bit of a bummer.
Now the 400, are you talking about the Cruiser 400 or the street bike 400?
No, the street bike one.
Okay.
Yeah, which is pretty good. So, yeah, so that'll be cool. She's looking forward to it, but trying to get her license is going to be a problem. Every man and their dog's trying to get one at the moment.
I'm sure. In Australia, is it restricted by displacement?
Yeah, 650.
So that's the first stage, right? 650.
Yeah, you can go up to a 650cc bike, or so many kilowatts. I think I don't know, 40 horsepower, and for 12 months, and then after that you're unrestricted.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's good. Yeah,
it's pretty generous. Generous. But I think a Ninja 400 would do her pretty good though. We could go the 650, but it's a bit tall for her. And she's not really into the cruiser style bikes.
Right.
Yeah, she sort of calls them old fuddy-duddy bikes type thing, you know.
But I think if you go for the 650, you could get the Honda, right? CBR 600. Right? So that would be along the same style. And at least she's gotten a higher displacement, the maximum displacement, because I'm sure Kev will probably be able to tell you a little bit more as he's been teaching this a lot, right? It's about the weight as well. So if you go up to 650 or 600, the weight class is also a bit different when it's wet.
Yeah.
And so when she decides that she wants to go full adventure bike or what have you, that she'll be able to handle the much larger bikes. Because if you stick to 400 to 600, for whatever reason, I don't know, it's always a big weight difference, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Kev.
No, you're right. If you've seen the latest video I put out, there's a young guy who lives close by here by me who wanted to go for a ride. He had a little 300. I don't think it was a Ninja, some other one, but it was very similar to a 300 Ninja. That he came riding with me. Nice little bike, you know, and small. Boy, is it small! Compared to my Harley, it was really, really small. But,
it's like riding a thong.
Yeah, but you know what? He had no trouble keeping up with me.
I was gonna say especially with those street bikes, it seems like the displacement's not the factor of the speed necessarily.
No.
I've seen 300 and 400 cc street bikes that would tear up a 1400cc Harley any day.
Yeah.
Well, that's
true. I mean, she's only about 7.5 stone, maybe. Yeah, she's very, quite petite. So a heavy bike wouldn't be a good match, really.
Well, listen, everybody, I'm going to have to get off here. It was good talking to everybody tonight. Fletch.
All right, man. Hey, thanks, Josie.
All of you guys.
Ride safe on your trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Watch out for the frogs.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
take care of yourself.
I will. All right, guys. Have a good one. And gals.
Later.
Take care, man.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Take care.
Like I said, leaves Miss Mototech to answer the question of long rides for the season.
Yeah.
So right now, if I go outside, it's like riding into a blow dryer. It's not, you cool down the faster you go. I was supposed to go on a group ride last Sunday, but the person who was doing it got sick and nobody else showed up. So I'm there at the gas station and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I had my camera and stuff and went for a nice 2-hour ride. A local place by myself because my husband was sleeping, but that's because his schedule he goes to work at 5 p.m. So, but I mean, it was great. There was a bunch of other riders and a lot of turns, which I don't have that much experience with yet. So that was kind of actually nice practice because they weren't too bad. I just was like, the person behind me is just going to deal with it. So I was fine. I didn't go under 30, so it was fine. But other than that, it just kind of depends because we're also in monsoon season, so add that to the list.
Wow.
Which, by the way, it was water turns to blood. Then it was.
We're on that now.
Then it was the locusts. Then it was frogs. Then it was boils and disease. And then it was famine. There's 7.
Finished off with wet bats.
Yeah.
When did the aliens show up?
Your firstborn son. So, but yeah, no. And then the only other one I want to do is I want to go to Winslow, Arizona, because I'm because of my parents raised me right. I'm an Eagles fan.
Right.
So when I found out I wasn't that far, I was like, I'll stand on that corner. I'll do
You
that.
want to stand on the corner?
Yeah.
Move to Arizona?
Yeah, and have girls looking at me. And guys, I don't know. I don't care.
Apparently they have a truck there.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they have a right on the corner. There's a flatbed Ford, and they've got the music playing all the time on the corner. The same song plays on a loop.
Oh, good. Oh, that makes me so happy. Because I mean, I'm gonna see how I feel after this upcoming week. Because like tonight, I actually just had my meet the teacher night with my parents.
Right.
Meet the creature.
What?
Meet the creature.
Meet the creature.
Yes. Although I wasn't wearing this. I showed them my face. I showed off my motorcycle, though. I let them know. I'm like, this is mine. I don't have kids. I have a motor baby.
It's cheaper.
Rocking teacher. Yeah.
And they don't answer back. And they're not expensive to feed. They're great.
Don't talk back.
Yeah, no, exactly. And if they do, it's because something I did.
Wait till they're 20 years old. They talk back a lot to you.
Okay. But we start school on Monday.
Mike has just got announced that they're going straight to online learning only for a bit, at least for the time being.
Yeah, we are too. Technically in Arizona, the last I heard, the governor was saying like August 13th or something like that in person, but we're not doing that. We're doing online for as long as possible. Yeah,
that's cool. I just remembered something. You all know JP 1970, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a teacher too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but so he's been doing a lot of. The last time I talked to him, anyway, he was doing a lot of online learning and stuff. So
I think
he's still working from home.
Middle school teacher.
I think so. Yeah. So he could let his beard grow out and shit.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get him on this, but I think it's the timing and stuff. And anyway, he seems to be getting on more rides than anything else, which I'm really jealous about. But good for him.
I mean, that's the thing is like for us. I can't speak for other states though, because like my parents back in New Jersey, I visited them for like 3 weeks, and it's totally different worlds. Like how I feel about like living here in Arizona is like some areas were really like strict on the lockdown, but it's restaurants are open, like it's all daily life. The only thing you can't do is go to school, go to the bars, and go to baseball games. Although I live near one of the practice fields, and I found out recently that the players that don't necessarily go with the teams, they stay here where I live, and they practice outside my window. They're not hard to look at. Just saying. That's a sunshine of my day.
So doing a round robin around the classroom here. Where are you from and how many cases? Where are you from and how many cases have you got for everybody? Just out of curiosity. Like I'm South Australia, and we got 5 cases, but they've come in from interstate. That they weren't ours.
Oh, I so wish that was a realistic number.
So what do you got, Fletch?
Okay, if you're talking about total numbers, right?
Yeah.
And remember, I'm a small island that's locked away from everyone.
Yeah.
45,000 infected.
Shit.
Right. Of which maybe 50% have already been cleared.
Yeah.
Daily cases is something like between the 400 and 500. Right. But you see, the thing is that because we have a migrant worker force that does a lot of the construction and everything else from India and from China and Thailand and what have you. So these guys are housed in a dormitory. So it's like a couple of thousand people in this dormitory and everything else. So that's why the cases are pretty high. But if you're talking about local transmissions on a daily basis, we can get anywhere between 10 to 20. every single day, right?
Wow.
So they're still they keep going on the news and talking about opening up this and starting this and doing that. But I have I have confidence that we're going to go on a second lockdown anytime soon, just like Victoria, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Travis?
I had to look it up because I'll be honest, I've gotten to the point where I don't pay attention to those numbers. According to, if you can believe the local news, 89,626 cases, 3,442 deaths, and that was as of this morning. Basically, is when that last update.
Wow.
So,
and what area is that in?
I'm in Ohio.
Ohio. Wow. Okay.
So, got about 11.5 million people in Ohio.
Right.
Here where I am, so I do the counties. So my county is relatively it includes Phoenix.
Yep.
So as of 9 a.m. today, we had a number of 140,086 cases, which is 1,500 up from yesterday, and 1,928 deaths, which is up 87 from yesterday, just in my county.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey, Wild on Twos. Hello, man.
How's it going?
So
good.
You hear me?
Bad.
Good. I can.
Okay.
But it's like I said, it's because, well, partially it's the pockets. Unfortunately, it's just where it is.
Yep.
But I mean,
what about you, Kev?
And where are you located?
I'm just looking at the stats here for Ontario. Ontario has 39,000 cases, 2,772 deaths since it started, right? And that's where we are. Canada, we've got 116,000 confirmed cases and 8,000 deaths.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all those, many of the numbers are really false, by the way. I know for a fact, because I work in a big hospital system and I do studies with Baylor College of Medicine. And even the test, let's say COVID came out this week, and then within 2 days, they had a test that can tell you this is COVID for sure, 100%, which is BS. It takes a long time to get a real test to get a definite 100% accuracy. Exactly. We did a test ourselves. We bought 20 kits, opened up the kits, didn't put anything on them, closed them, sent them out. 16 out of 20 came out positive. And we didn't test anybody with them. But also it goes to the part that it might be saying negative and the person might be positive. And then another study we did actually that I think it's picking up some antibodies that we have from other vaccines and it's thinking it's a positive. So a lot of the cases that we're getting, we don't know if it's real or not. And we treat them like they're real. So it's like a big mixture. Then there's people that are dying we had a motorcycle accident and the person had COVID. They put it down as a COVID death.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So for statistics, even for I'm in San Antonio, which was a big hotspot. And around my neighborhood, there was like 28 people. They said they were positive, and I know 10 of them, and they said they'd never been tested. Just that they had symptoms, but they never tested, but they count them as positive. So, a lot of the stats are kind of all over the place to really.
Well, there was one of the governors, it was when I was visiting my mother, one of the governors even said, too, that if somebody had, I don't know if anything's been corrected since then because this was like 2 weeks ago, but if anybody died having COVID, even though it wasn't the cause, it was counted as a COVID death.
Correct. Yeah, because what they're doing is it's almost like you ask someone, if someone has a heart disease, they die of a heart attack, did they die of heart disease or the heart attack? But a lot of people, they were dead, like they didn't even know they had COVID, but during the autopsy, they do tests and exams and they'll come back COVID and they'll report it as a COVID case. But then since the person died, it'll be under the death area, even though they didn't die of it. So that's true. That's why I said like the motorcycle guy, He came in our hospital and they died. Then I looked it up and his name was under a COVID death. Not due to COVID, and I think it has to do with funding also.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the hospitals are accepting a lot of cases on purpose because they're getting a lot of funding from the government.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
Well, I also find it interesting too. I mean, even looking at the numbers from my state, you know, like I said, we're 11.5 million people, and there's not even 1%, but they're freaking out like it's you know the worst thing ever. But it's less than 1%.
correct. Yeah,
And that's
it's
based
just like
on their
anything.
reporting.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like everybody brings up about the flu. Usually, the flu is like 60 to 100,000 deaths a year, and that's that we have vaccines,
Right.
in the U.S. And that's that people report it because usually, if I have the flu, I'm not going to the hospital. I get Sudafed. I don't report anything. But this year so far, I think there was only 16,000 deaths. So I mean, I don't think it's a miracle. I mean, I think a lot of people that are sick or symptoms that probably do have the flu, but the test is coming out positive, and I think it's picking up a lot of the flus too. I'm not saying there's not a problem because I know some people that did have that ended up passing away actually from some MCs that we know locally had COVID and they battled, but they were pretty big and probably were diabetic and had other issues going on. So I mean, it does affect some people pretty bad, but.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the grand scheme of the picture of the percentages, it's fairly low. But of course, when it hits close to home, that's when everybody feels it the most.
Right.
Exactly. I think you're right. In terms of the numbers and everything else, it all depends upon how they were doing it as well. So in the case of Singapore, we only had test kits come in the late part of April. So that's when we saw a lot of cases spiking because what they were doing is testing and then finding the positive stuff, right? And you're right. At least here, they're very truthful about stuff, and they know it takes between 7 to 14 days to get any kind of results. So there are times where you see a huge spike because that's when all the results come in. You know, the only scary thing is that we have 3 million people on this island, and when you hit 45%, that's starting to be a bit scary. And the fact that we're all enclosed and the chances of getting infected is much higher than anything else, you know. But that's with the COVID thing. So rather than be a wet blanket, while on twos, what's your next long ride? Change the subject.
My next long ride? I know we keep talking about medical. I mean, crap. I just rode for 4 hours. Well, I took the Challenger, the Indian Challenger. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I got it for 6 hours. I rode about nonstop 4 hours. I just went to a bunch of cities all over Texas, from San Antonio to Kerrville, Medina to Hondo. It was over getting close to 300 miles, I think, or 200 something miles.
Well, that's nice.
It was just I wanted to do a big long review of the Challenger since I never rid it. I didn't want to go to a demo and just do a 15-minute ride in the circle. So I rode it for 3 hours, and then I rode it for another hour doing the review. So
did you rent it out or
yeah, no, I rented it. They gave me a good deal on it. I think I only paid like $90.
Damn.
Yeah, I think they're normally like 140 or something for 6 hours, 180 for 23 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, that's cool. Any plans on Sturgis?
No. I was gonna ride up to New York in September from Texas. So I mean,
wow.
I'm gonna plan on that, but I'm trying to see how everything is going on over there. It was for an event for a big MC out there that invited me.
Wow, that's awesome.
Eastern New York or Western?
In the Bronx.
Oh, okay. So Eastern.
Hey, my mom's from there.
Yeah. They run the clubs all there differently. They all have their own like neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Like they get like 4 blocks for themselves.
Yeah, I think 508 Diners from New York, right? Maybe we can meet up there with him if you're going up. I'm not sure if he's from New York or New Jersey. I can't remember. If he's still on, he can tell us.
They're not that far from each other.
Not far on the map. It might be 6 hours to get there, depending on which side you're on. But
if you're in South Jersey, it's like a whole different world down there.
Tell me about it. I spent a year in Jersey, and only spent the weekends in New York. when I was doing in the college days anyway. Really had a good time. It was an excellent place. Although the people from New Jersey tend to be a little bit skeptical.
They're so nice, aren't they?
I know.
Here's
the coffee.
Here's the funny thing I've been told about New York and New Jersey people.
What?
You can't, especially when you're driving, you can't say anything nice to a New Jersey or New York driver because they'll look at you like you're stupid. But if you curse at them and tell them to get the out of the way, they'll understand what you're trying to say. They don't understand nice.
No, they don't. Like my parents, when they came out here, we went to before all this, we went to a restaurant, and the waiter's like talking to us and stuff, and they walk away. My parents are like, "Why is everybody so nice here?" I was like, and plus the other thing too, people talk slower out here than they do.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I realized that.
Yeah.
I realized that. I think I talk fast, but the people in New Jersey and New York talk really fast.
Setting something up with my mom, and it was when I was back there, and I was talking to somebody from here, and me and that person were having a nice conversation, and my mom's like, "Get it done. Let's go. Let's ask this question." And I was like, "Wow, things do move here. You're not going anywhere. You're stuck in the house because you came to Arizona with me."
Exactly.
But it's like when you go southern, United States, you get down in like Georgia and Alabama, man, the people are so super friendly. It's almost like
it's
murder
awesome.
mystery, scary.
Yeah. Kind of like an episode of the Twilight Zone or something.
Yeah, exactly.
For the other shoe to drop, you're like, "Okay."
I mean, that's how Dallas. When I moved to from Florida, Miami to Texas, in Miami we had a big attitudes, very chip on your shoulders, very like Tony Montana type of attitude. Someone stares at you, you kind of get pissed off and want to fight or something. So when I went to Dallas and everybody was just staring at me and waving at me and being nice, I in the beginning I was getting very frustrated. I thought they were like, I don't know, I wasn't used to people waving and being nice, saying hi, staring at me, and I'll be yelling, "What the hell are you staring at?" or something. And then I learned that's just them being nice. But I mean, South Texas is a little different. That's a little different too. So,
I think here in Singapore and Asia, we would probably be the New Yorkers of Asia, right? Because everybody's rushing. It's a big business city. Nobody's got time to talk and shit. Then we get to Thailand, right, where everybody's like fucking Jamaica, and relaxing and getting their rock on, and the music. And everybody's so friendly. They will come up to you and just talk your ears off. It's just so weird, right? We're not used to meeting strangers on the street and trying to get a conversation going, but these people are that way as well. Yeah. So I think it's interesting to be able to go to different places and see the different kinds of people, and I've experienced that even in the United States, right? So the people from New York and New Jersey are like that. Then you go to California, it's like fucking different thing altogether. Then you get to Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Oh man.
Oh my god.
That's a whole different world.
I know, and I was there for a year with a Hyatt group, and oh my god, I was thinking, Jesus Christ,
which side of Chicago?
If you've been to Chicago, you know where the Hyatt is, right? It's just right next to Oprah. Madison, right? Madison Avenue. Madison.
Yeah. Oh, so you're talking Chicago, not
Chicago.
like
Yeah. I was there for work, and because I was part of the project team, I had to go back to HQ because I had nothing else going on for that particular year. So I had to be there for a year. And let me tell you, I mean, it's night and daytime when you're working. It's something else. And then at night, it just completely changes, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody's going out to the restaurants, having a good time and everything else, and getting their shit on. And then the next day, it's different again. They're just fucking weird, man.
Well, in that town, it turns itself on and off. It's really, really strange because depending on the time of the year, you go there in the middle of the winter, and man, it's like ghost town.
Well, except around St. Patrick's Day, because the one time I did go to Chicago, I got nominated to the what's they called, the NEA Leadership Conference. I got nominated to go to the state of Utah, And we went, and it was during St. Patrick's. So I actually saw them dye the river green.
They do that.
Hell. But everybody was out. Like Hamilton was in town, so like some people went there. But it was hopping.
But the way people drive in and around Chicago, I would describe it like Thailand. People, they don't give a fuck. Get the fuck out of my way. And
the taxi driver that took some of us from the airport. I'm glad I was with people I knew, but we all were like, "You're driving at 100 miles per hour. We're gonna die." And there's not a proper seatbelt in the van.
Yeah,
I know. I had experience.
Chicago has 2 feet. Go and stop. There's nothing in between.
Yeah,
I know. I know the feeling because Chicago is like Thailand and Vietnam. It's the only 3 places I've been in my life that I would not fucking ride my bike or drive a car unless I have a death wish, right? You know, first of all, I'm driving on the wrong side of the road. That's one, right? So don't want to get killed.
You're driving on the right side of the road.
I'm driving on the right side of the road. Right. I'm driving on the right side of the road, the wrong side of the road. And the same thing, I tried it once in Vietnam. I tried it, Thailand depends on where. Yeah. Bangkok, forget it, right? It's probably, I could compare Chicago to Bangkok. And I did it in Chicago. I rented a bike on the weekend and tried to ride around. I gave up. I went back to the dealership and I said, take this, keep your fucking key. Fuck it, I'll take a cab. Forget it. You know, it's insane.
Yeah.
I was always stressed out being on the right hand side of the road, and
that's what I love about Ohio, man. You get outside the major cities, and man, the roads are beautiful and windy and trees, and you know, the only thing that sucks is that, you know, we get 4 or 5 reasonable months out of the year to ride, and you know, beyond that, it's really too cold unless you really like to bundle up. Yeah. But as far as the roads are beautiful.
But it's only like 2 months.
Yeah. So sometimes it's good to be in Oz and in Asia, right, Keith? We don't have to, Raleigh, we don't have to worry about the weather too much, except for the rain and the frogs. But, you know, other than that, we're good, right? Yeah, he's having his tea on, man.
Yeah, his tea and his biscuits. That's.
Hey, I have tea.
Oh yeah.
I just can't.
I'm done with my coffee. Yeah.
Just need a straw.
Yeah. If I get a certain number of subscribers, I'm going to say screw it.
Well, I kind of understand in your case, being a teacher, you know, you don't want anybody to put something against you, but there's some people I'm like, why in the world do you not? I'm nobody special. That's, you know, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
I did get a student find me. They said my last name in a comment. I was like, what the hell?
Oh shit!
I have no discerning anything anywhere. The only thing that I can think of is that I did post on like my Facebook and my Snapchat, and I have students who graduated back in Utah that are on there. So I'm thinking it's one of them. But still, I was like, wow.
But you know, kids nowadays could sniff us all out. You know, for me, it would probably take an hour before I could even get on YouTube. But
I mean, that's the thing. Think about it. If a 15 or 16-year-old kid could find you on the internet, imagine what the federal government, who keeps track of everything.
They know my sleep schedule. They know everything about me.
Yeah.
But then again, I live with somebody who works with the government, so they probably know everything about me already.
For sure. Yeah, man. So, any big festivals coming up that you could still ride to, or what have you? No.
Yeah. All the big ones for me all canceled. Easy Rider Rodeo canceled. I was going to go to the Midwest Moto meetup with some of the other moto vloggers, and that got canceled here this past week.
Right.
So.
What about Wild on Twos? Any interesting events coming up that you don't have to ride like 10 hours or something too?
No, I mean lately it's just more sad, like memorial rides and stuff lately for me, like people in accidents, and we had over here the Thin Blue Line here in Bandera in Texas got hit by that drunk driver.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so that's I ride that road all the time on the weekends. It's right here in the Texas Hill Country. It's a really nice area to go ride. But there's Fredericksburg is not too far away. I don't know if you guys heard of Fredericksburg, Texas. It's the number 2 most visited wine destination in the United States, in Texas. Go figure.
Wow. Yeah. It'd be whiskey.
Cool little place. It's a German little town in middle, nice hill country, but you have all these drunk drivers going to wineries, and they leave the area, and you're riding these nice twisty roads, and it's a one way, one lane each way, and there's no median, so they can just cross into your lane. Really simple. And there are really some winding, nice, roads to ride, but for cars, man, so you always have to be careful. So that's why if I go ride those roads, it's like on midweek day, early morning, not early, but like 10 in the morning when there's no one on those roads.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, even here where I live, it's like from about 11 to about 2 in the morning. You don't want to be on the roads.
No,
that's where all the drunks are.
Yeah, I stopped doing this years ago. Like I'm not a club guy that goes to bars and club hops anymore, or I just ride. I like riding, and most people that go to bars, I think, is just trying to show off their cuts and start anything at 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning is not good.
Yeah.
What I do is that times when I go out riding, I was just talking about earlier when I was talking about to myself in the beginning of the stream, is that we do go to bars, and the primary reason is to watch the bands and everything else. So there's a particular bar that all the MCs will go to and normally get their drink on. What I'll do is if I meet them, I'll end up drinking as much as they do. But what I'll do is I'll leave my bike there. Fuck it. I'll take a cab home or I'll Uber it or something, and which most of them do as well. And the one thing I like about this particular club is that they have a valet service or a taxi service. So they will always go and the owner of the bar would just go to every one of us and say keys, and just take the keys off all of us, and he will decide if he's going to give it back to you. If he's not, he said, look, cab's at the back, go, fuck off, see you tomorrow morning or something.
But my bike has a code. I have the key. I don't need the key fob or anything. You have that little code you can start your car.
I don't typically, I don't bar hop, but I have a 1 drink limit. One drink, and that's all I'll do.
Yeah.
Well, it's like me flying a plane. Ours is 8 hours bottle to throttle. I kind of do something similar with a bike, but I mean, I just have like you, just 1 drink, and that's about it. And if I park somewhere, I kind of like parking away from all the cluster of bikes that someone's going to just knock all the bikes over or drunk or do something.
Oh, yeah, do dominoes. Yeah.
There's always that one person trying to show off and do a burnout and just lose control and hit all the bikes.
It's like that Mustang driver, right?
Oh.
See, I went to 1 bike night right after I got my bike, and then everything shut down. So I'm learning. I'm learning the do's and the don'ts. Don't park next to all the bikes. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Especially when you're in newbie and you're trying to maneuver slow speeds very tightly around everybody else, and that's when you're going to drop the bike or do something.
Yeah, that's true. And I think it's going to be the same for Sturgis and everything else, those big places. And they actually tell you, learn how to cruise at 5 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Right? To be able to handle it. Otherwise, just get away from the crowds.
Clutch control.
Exactly. Yeah, clutch control.
I took off with that Challenger. Literally within 15 minutes, I was in traffic for 45 minutes. They were doing road work. So I was first time on the Challenger, so I was messing with the friction, and it does really well. I was really intrigued by how nimble that bike is, but I was in traffic for 45 minutes, like just 1 to 2 miles per hour, 5 miles per hour, 4, 3, and I was like, shit. So I just stopped and told the guy behind me, I'm just going to let them go for a while in front of me.
That hurts. Just thinking about it.
Yeah,
that's true.
No, was that a 2020 or 2021?
2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Initial impressions. Did you like it?
No, I really did. It actually feels like a sport bike compared to my Chief. But then, like today, I was riding my Chief all over the place, and it felt underpowered. Even though it's really, a good powerful bike, but compared to that Challenger, I think I was going 70 miles per hour, and I just said, let me just open the throttle a little bit, and I shot up to 100, and it just still had a lot more throttle to open. It got kind of scary. Literally, it felt like if I just unloaded, the wheels would just start spinning at 80, 90 miles per hour. That's how powerful that bike felt.
Wow.
And
what was the difference? What was the difference in terms of displacement between your current bike and the Challenger?
No, I mean, the displacement, it's all about the same, like low center of gravity. Like I think it weighs 840 pounds, but it felt like a 600-pound bike.
Wow.
Well, I think on the Challenger, if I remember reading the literature on those, they had made changes to the motor and made it torquier on the bottom end. You didn't get it quite on the high end, but it made it more like a Harley in that respect, where everything was on the bottom half, not the top half.
Right, and it's pretty twitchy though. Like even when you're going slower speeds, if you just kind of open the throttle a little bit, it just kicks forward. It's pretty twitchy.
Right.
I mean, the speakers are fantastic. I swear to God, I thought my Bluetooth in my helmet was on the whole time. I had to put the volume down because my ears were hurting. That the music was really clear and loud too. And it took corners. Like at a certain point, I started looking at I never really look at how fast I'm going to take corners, and I was going 85 miles per hour taking corners, and so then I started slowing down because it felt like I was going 55 by the way it was handling. So,
how many cubic inches is it?
Oh man, I got to look that up. I didn't. I think it's 108 engine pulled, but it pulls 122 horsepower and.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I read that.
122 horsepower, and I think it was 128 pounds of torque.
Torque, yep.
1769 cc.
Yeah, and I think it red lines at 6100.
What is it?
So I think 6100 RPM it red lines.
Yeah, what type of bike?
The what?
What bike?
The Challenger.
Is it?
Oh, the Challenger, the Indian Challenger.
Oh, Indian Challenger.
Yeah, it sounded, even when I was at 3,000 RPM, it kind of sounded like a high-pitched noise to me. Like I felt like I had to change, gears each time or so.
Right.
It's a really solid bike. I mean, after I was riding it, I kind of felt like I wanted to buy it.
I know it's the road glide killer. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's my next thing. I never really took the Road Glide out yet, and I was going to do that next week, and just to do a good comparison. And do 2 separate videos probably or something, and give the Road Glide a chance. But everything I heard so far is the Challenger overall, like more power, a little more comfortable. Just I think the Road Glide, people like the material better, but it was kind of quiet compared to the bikes I'm used to.
Everything I've ever heard about the Challenger talks about the people that buy the Challenger are the guys that don't want a Harley. Because there was a lot of talk about, man, if they just price this a couple of grand less, and kind of to more compete with Harley. But everyone kind of had this mentality of, well, if it was price, they're going to choose the bike they like the most, whether it's going to be Harley or whether it's going to be Indian. Really, the price is not going to matter. They're going to choose what they want.
Ultimately, I mean, if you can afford either bike, you're going to, for a couple extra $1,000 or a little less, I mean, just at the I always notice that Indian always has better suspension, a little more comfortable, a little more power. So it comes out of the box kind of not upgraded, but kind of upgraded compared to Harleys. There's so much aftermarket stuff for Harleys that you can do whatever you want with the bikes, but you have to add more money to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. But while on twos, I actually test rode the Road Glide and the Challenger as well. And I can tell you offhand that the Challenger is a much better bike. You're right. The suspension is much better. You got more power. Definitely, there's more horsepower than against the Road Glide. I think it's the way Harley does it. For whatever reason, it's you have big CCs on the bike or big displacements, cubic inches and stuff like that. It's a 114 cubic inch, but yet. You could feel that it's underpowered. It doesn't have the horsepower, whereas the Challenger really can go, And for me, I'm not brand loyal in a sense, I love the Harleys. That has always been my dream bike. But to me, if I could get the Challenger, I would, because it's about the same price anyway. The only reason why I didn't get the Challenger is because the dealership here in Singapore are cunts, so I didn't go for them. Right? They're just assholes, and they don't treat people very well, and that's the only reason why I went back to a Harley. But if given a chance, I would have gone for the Challenger.
What year Challenger was it that you
Mine,
rode?
the one I did, the 2020.
Yeah. 2020. Yeah, they're rated at 103 horse, 113 foot-pound of torque.
Right. So it's in the case of displacement and CCs, I mean, they will be it's far less than the Road Glide 2020, right? The Road Glide 2020 is 114. So you would think that you have more power because you got higher CCs or higher cubic inches, but for whatever reason, the Indians put out more horsepower to the rear wheel.
It's all about the liquid cooling. That's been the big thing with a Harley. Obviously, not wanting to do liquid cooling. You can run higher compression. You can run, more. You have more consistency with a liquid cooled engine, which is why a lot of people are expecting in the next couple of years, Harley will end up going to a full liquid cooled engine. They do a partial one now. Yes. But it's not a full liquid cooled. But that really is the big factor as far as why the Harley has more displacement, but doesn't, like I said, they can't run the compression or anything else that that they can run with the Indian or some other brands.
Yeah, my Chief is, of course, it's not engine cooled, but it's 119 pounds of torque at 3,000 RPM. So you have low RPMs with a high torque. So, it was hard for me to find any bike comparable to like the Chief at the price point for what power it had.
You look at the Indian Scout, that's basically a Sportster is 100 horsepower. And like 79 foot-pounds of torque, I think, or something like that. It's kind of ridiculous, all things considered, for the size of the bike.
My Street Bob is that it's like 111, and it's at 3,000.
All right.
114, right?
I am going to jump out. Looks like the dog wants out anyway, so he's over here barking at me.
Yeah, I hear my dog as well. Thanks, Travis, for joining us.
Nope, always a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Catch you next week.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna bail out of here too, guys.
Yeah.
All right, man, Kev. Thanks a lot.
We're all pumped.
Yeah, we're all getting off.
Okay. Yeah, I know. It's getting that time anyway. It's almost lunchtime. I need to get something done as well. So, whoa, shit. Yeah. So, anyway, guys.
My ride's looking a bit debatable now. Weather's coming in a bit shit.
All right. Well, catch you next week.
All right, man. Catch you next week. Will be the dynamic duo. Will be me and Brett again. So hopefully we can get something else on, and hopefully I can get another guest that I'm trying to be getting. This lady who rode her Vespa, right, from Singapore all the way to Europe. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
So I'm still trying to work it out. So chances are I'm going to change the date, the time from Thursday to Friday. So then she has it'll be Saturday for us. So then she doesn't have anything on. Then I can get her on to talk about her trip on a 125cc bike from Singapore all the way to Europe, right? And she's very keen on coming on, so I hope I can get her on as well.
So when you're thinking of doing
that? Next week, I hope. Next week.
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday, our time. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because I'm about, what am I, an hour or so different from you?
It's 11:30 now. What time is it there?
1:08.
1:08. So you're 2 hours ahead. An hour-ish ahead, yeah. So it'll be the same time as I do it today, but me and Chopper Fett will be doing it on a Friday instead, or Saturday our time, right? Okay. And hopefully, while on Tuesday, you could come and join us as well.
Yeah, if I'm available, good.
Yeah, and listen to her adventures. I think it's really very good.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I was going to ask you something. What's the price of the Road Glide? I can't think of the top of my head. I can search it, but maybe in case you.
If you're talking about in the United States, I think it's running at about 19,000.
Okay, for the basic
US,
one. Yeah,
for the basic. Yeah.
I think
Rogue
challenge,
Glide.
I think basic is like 22, and then they're limited. Like Dark Horse is about 27, I think.
Oh yeah, okay. If you talk about the Rogue Glide, just the regular Rogue Glide, if you talk about the Rogue Glide Special, and if you're talking about the Rogue Glide Ultra, then we're talking about the 23 to 25,000.
Yeah, so they're about the same price. Yeah,
they are. But to me, again, it's about choice, right? And if I had the choice and wanted something comfortable, good suspension, reliability, and in terms of power, and if you're going long distance, so you need to be able to keep that high end to get out of trouble, stuff like that, right? And I'll still go for an Indian. But again, because the dealership here are cunts, forget it, right? They don't take care of their people. I've had a lot of bad things I heard from friends who own an Indian that get zero support, bad service, servicing and everything.
On the Indian forum or something about in some other country, they're like horrible support or something.
Yeah,
but it's a great bike. Yeah, if you do go a long distance with that bike, I can see how you can be going like 75, and if you need to punch it to get out of something, you can plenty of power.
Yeah. That's the one thing I realized as well when I did a test ride. I did the Rogue Glide and I did the thing, and I realized that it was such a well balanced bike as well, because the Harley is that it's well balanced if you get it upright.
Correct.
Right? But to take it off the stand and upright, you can actually feel that there isn't that much of a balance. But I was so surprised when I got on the Challenger and lifted it. I was like, I almost whipped it to the other side.
Yep.
That's how well balanced it was, right? It's so strange. It felt like a sports bike.
The M109 is exactly like that. You expect it to really have to put some muscle in it to stand it up, but it's got a very wide neutral point.
Exactly. That's the thing. Center of gravity is excellent.
It's very low center of gravity, so the weight's lower compared to what I heard of the Harley is a little higher. So it's top heavy compared to.
It is. I mean, if you ever hear us getting on the bike and lifting the bike off, right? You can always hear us grunt.
Yeah.
I know. Always. It's for every Harley that I've owned has always been the case, and that's why I was so surprised when I lifted up I did a test ride on the Scout. And they only had these two at that point in time for test rides, so the Challenger and the Scout. And the Scout surprised me also because it was supposed to be compared to a Sportster, so I knew it's going to be light and nimble, but I didn't expect the kind of power. It was like riding a sports bike, man. It was so weird, right? And the same with the Challenger. I just went from, because it's just around the corner, this dealership, the Indian dealership was, from where Harley was. So I just did a quick one on the Road Glide and Street Glide. Then when I got on the Challenger, I was thinking, Jesus Christ, what a difference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right after I left the Challenger, I took my bike home, and I was like, wah, wah, wah.
Exactly. Oh, my God. I'm on an e-scooter.
Yeah, it's two different monsters. So, yeah. I mean, if I had the Challenger, I'll probably add a little aftermarket slip-on or something to just beef up the noise a little bit. Right. But other than that, like when I was riding, it was really quiet. It felt like an electric bike or something, it wasn't loud at all. So, all right. Well, you guys have a wonderful night or a day for you guys. I'm going to be going to bed here soon.
Yeah.
Okay. You take care, man. I'll see you next week, man.
Got it.
Gotcha.
All right.
So Fletch, I might depart and hit the road if I can. I know it's looking pretty miserable again, so I don't know. I'll see what it's like when I get changed and go outside. If it looks like crap, I'll just can it for the day.
Okay.
Nevertheless, good catching you again.
And you too, man. Take care.
Yeah, we'll catch you.
I'll catch you the next time. Right.
Yep.
So everyone, thank you very much. I'm going to end the stream right now. See you next week. Not the same time, but different date for the dynamic duo. So me and Brett will be hosting the show again, and hopefully we can get some good guests on. Right. So you guys take care. Have a good ride. Be safe. If not, be good.